Back in Norman Memorial Stadium, Owen Field here as number 2 Oklahoma is set to take on Bowling Green, a team that went 11-3 and won a bowl game of their own last year. Terry Gannon along with Jamal Anderson, and we go down to the third member of our crew right now, Mark Morgan, down in the field. Mark.
Terry, Bowling Green is a heavy underdog in this game, but with a win over Purdue and West Lafayette last season, plus taking Ohio State to the wire in Columbus, and with those two experiences, head coach Greg Brandon says his team has played in this type of venue before, but he did make a point of talking to his team about the atmosphere they would face today here in Norman and perhaps trying to neutralize or negate the tradition here at Oklahoma. Brandon told his guys, he says, hey, all of this stuff is a mirage, and you can't let it get to you. Terry?
Well, that's the outlook coming in. There's no question about that. And I mentioned the 11-3 record last year, and Bowling Green going to the Motor City Bowl. They're playing in the MAC championship game and beating Northwestern at Ford Field last year. So plenty of confidence from those returning, but a first-year starter at quarterback in Omar Jacobs. And you wonder how he's going to react here with 82,000 at Oklahoma for the first start of his career. Oklahoma won the toss, deferring to the second half. Trey DiCarlo will get things underway, and B.J. Lane is back deep for the Falcons on an absolutely perfect day for college football or anything else. Cole Magner also back there with B.J. Lane. 81 degrees, bit hazy, but not many clouds high above Norman right now. 70% humidity and temperatures expected to get into the low 90s, but it's very comfortable right now.
Get the ball.
And we are underway here in Norman. DiCarlo's kick sending Magner all the way back 8 yards deep. Down to one knee, and they'll bring it out to the 20 for the first series of the game for the Falcons. An offense that was ranked number 3 in the nation last year, Jamal. 497 yards they put up per game, but that was back when Josh Harris was their quarterback. Now you've got Omar Jacobs, 6'4", 224, only a sophomore, and only 28 passes in 4 games in his career.
They love this guy, Terry, but it's going to be interesting. Like you said, Josh Harris was the guy. He got limited experience last year. They think he has all the talent to do some of the things Josh Harris did. Just got to go out and play.
And Jamal will look right away at what Bowling Green likes to do. Out of the shotgun, 4 receivers set, 1st and 10 from the 20. And the inside give, P.J. Pope on the carry, a little bit ahead to about the 22-yard line. So a gain of 2 on the play. Outback Steakhouse starting lineups. You look at the backs and receivers for Bowling Green. 4 wide set, as we said. Magner off a record-setting year. 99 catches and over 1,100 yards. Also plays hoops at Bowling Green. Does Cole Magner, who is from the state of Alaska. So after the gain of 2, it is 2nd and 8. And right away, Jacobs having trouble having to communicate with his offensive line because of all the noise here at Memorial Stadium. Play clock at 2 as he gets it off. Quick throw ahead to the 26. It is complete. And knocked back after the catch is Todd DeBacco, their tight end. So the offensive line that Omar Jacobs will operate behind, it is a solid one. Scott Murkowski, his 38th consecutive start. First team All-MAC performer last year, but you look at Jackson and Cody at the defensive end spots, maybe the best tandem in the country. Dusty Dvorak, a consensus All-Big 12 performer last year and a personality to match. 3rd and 4 from the 26. Out of the gun, battling the noise. Jacobs over the middle. DeBacco again up to the 30, close to a first down. We'll see how they mark it. But DeBacco, who didn't catch a pass all last year, now with 2 catches already. And take a look at Oklahoma's linebackers. Lance Mitchell, who was the leading tackler a couple of years ago, is back off the knee injury in a secondary that is very talented, including Antonio Perkins, the best return man in the country, and maybe underrated as a corner, Jamal.
Definitely. Antonio, the scary thing about him this year is he wants to prove to everybody how good of a cornerback he is.
So they move the chains. Good sign for Jacobs in his first series as a starting quarterback. Quick throw out to the flat. There's Magner caught behind the line of scrimmage and dumped at the 28. Brandon Shelby, the strong safety, quick to get there, the senior from Kansas City.
A
like what Greg Studreau is trying to do right now. He's trying to a lot of short passes. You see him trying to get Omar Jacobs comfortable out here. It's his first start in a big game. All they're doing is short passes, 5-6 yards, just to try to get him in the rhythm of the game.
A loss of 2, so it's 2nd and 12. But it's going to be a problem that the young quarterback hasn't dealt with all day long. Yeah, they played at Ohio State, played them tough. They beat Purdue last year, but he was not running the show at that point. Quick throw, caught ahead to the 44-yard line. Charles Sharon, the junior from Florida, who had 59 catches last year, averaged 15 yards a catch, and he gets another first down. Gain of 15 on the play.
Again, very smart. They're running slants, they're running curls, they're running high percentage passes, and what people don't realize is that the Bowling Green Falcons have a tremendously talented offense and offensive backfield and receivers.
1st and 10 from the 44. Got to be careful that wasn't a lateral, and it's out of bounds. And it was, as they go back to the 37, so they lose ground on the play.
I mean, Terry, this offense last year, they generated almost 500 yards a game. They were the number 3 offense in the nation. Just a different quarterback right now. And Greg said yesterday, the coordinator, that he's going to rely on all the guys, all of his specialists and the other starters who've been here before to come out and help Omar Jacobs, and that's what they're doing right now.
Loss of 7, but he's perfect on the afternoon so far if you don't count that last pass, which was actually a lateral. We talked to him yesterday, and they said, you know, I'm surprisingly calm.
Right.
I thought I'd be nervous. And you kind of said, wait until 82,000 get into this thing. So far, so good, though. And they blow it dead before they get the play off.
Luckily, they blow it dead. Oklahoma had a blitz coming from the right side.
Red captain, you're going to want this 5, aren't you? Yeah.
Well, the mic didn't work, but new rule in college football this year, they will announce the infraction, the name and number, the man who caused it, as they have done in the NFL for a number of years. John Bible and his crew from the Big 12. And there is Greg Brandon. You can't talk too much about the job he did. A couple years as an offensive coordinator, but last year was his first year as a head coach at Bowling Green. He went 11-3 and won the bowl game, the Motor City Bowl. But it brings up 2nd and 22. Trips to the far side. Sharon to the near side. On the roll is Jacobs. Throwing back across his body. No one's there. Magner was the closest receiver, but he was a good 10 yards shy of that pass.
Very smart. They're trying to move Omar Jacobs around the pocket. Obviously have one of the best defensive lines in college football. They're trying to keep him on the move. Like he said yesterday, Studreau said he's going to throw him off. He's going to try to do a lot of different things. You see a little bit of pressure. Dan Cody, who's going to be a force all day long. Shelby coming up on the inside.
Shelby was already at a big hit behind the line of scrimmage, and there is Cody, one of the captains, an all-Big 12 performer last year. He and Jackson at the defensive end spots, maybe the best tandem, as we mentioned, in the country. 3rd and 22. Sharon in motion, quick throw, batted down, almost picked off. Could have been. Dusty Dvorak got his big paw up there and got a hand on it. It was Jackson who almost came up with the interception.
Yeah, we figured to say Dusty's name a lot today. They said this is a guy on the football field they feel is unblockable. He had a tremendous year last year. A lot of the hype went to Tommy Harris, but you watch Dusty Dvorak right there. He's going to be all over the football field. It's going to be a great matchup with Dusty and Scott Murkowski all day long.
Jacobs actually made a nice play, getting in the face of Jackson to stop the interception. Nate Fry on for his first punt as Antonio Perkins is back deep. 4 touchdowns returned last year. And Brandon said yesterday, there is no way we're punting to this guy. And there you see the first punt and the boos from the crowd here at Memorial Stadium. Nate Fry will not get it anywhere near Perkins if he can help it. A punt of 29 yards, but obviously no return, and that's what they're looking for. Sooners with a 13-game home winning streak on the line, and they have won their last 6 straight season openers. Bob Stoops, 55 wins in his first 5 seasons, and it's Jason White, the winner of the Heisman Trophy, who trots out onto the field, the 6'3", 226 senior who has lost some weight, and they tell us is much more mobile, coming off that season of 40 touchdown passes and almost 4,000 yards. Quick throw out. Brandon Jones wide open on the near side. Gets it out to about the 49 and close to a first down. Outback Steakhouse backs and receivers for Oklahoma. Kewan Jones, nearly 1,000 yards last year, even stronger after a lot of work in the weight room in the offseason. Mark Clayton, All-American wideout. 7 Oklahoma records already, including 23 touchdown catches in 23 games here in Norman. So up at the 49, it's 1st and 10 for the Sooners. And well, you look at this offense, 10 starters back from just an outstanding year last year. I mean, through the first 12 games, they were unstoppable. Quick throw out to Clayton, who reverses field, coming back looking for openings and can't find any.
That's good.
May have lost a yard on the play. Offensive line for Oklahoma, all 5 starters back. It is a good one. Jamal Brown, Wes Sims, 2 of the best tackles in the nation. Brown, a 2-time All-Big 12 performer and an All-American last year. So tough assignment for the Bowling Green defensive line. They've got 3 starters back. Devin Parks, a surprise last year and only a freshman, and he made a number of freshman All-American teams. 2nd and 11, breaking through. Kewan Jones, and across the 40, inside to the 39-yard line. His first carry of the season for the junior from Tulsa. Mentioned Jamal Brown just a moment ago. He's the man that opened the way for Kewan Jones. Jamal?
It's a huge hole right here, and they talked about Kewan Jones maybe not being ready last year and having the injury. He's 100% healthy, and in fact, not only that, he's a guy who's helping the 2 freshmen pick it up this year. And Stoops said yesterday how this guy is so much more mature, so much more polished, and he's going to help his team out.
Gain of 11 on his first carry from scrimmage here in 2004. So they move the chains again. The pitch back. Here it comes this side. Jones trying to get outside. It does for a moment inside the 35. Pushed out of bounds at the 34 by Keon Newson. A gain of 6, but we'll call Newson's name a lot this afternoon. The defense for Greg Brandon and Bowling Green talked about that defensive front. Crosley and Parks on the ends. Thaller up front along with Williams. The backers, including Javon Burks, who is a 3-year starter. The secondary led by Keon Newson, who led the team in tackles last year. Can also move out the corner for 6 fumbles. Top number in the MAC last year. And here goes Jones. Another big gain inside the 30 to the 28.
You see Oklahoma asserting themselves on the ground. Kevin Wilson, the coordinator, talked about that yesterday. He's in charge of the offensive line. He said, hey, when you're throwing this ball as well as we were throwing the ball last year, we didn't really run. So it's not that we ran bad. We just didn't focus on it. He said it was a new emphasis and attitude on the offensive line. And you see right now, Kewan Jones has room to move. He had a wall on the sweep the last time. That's a tailback stream. Now he can kind of pick and choose because they got great holes so far.
Chuck Long, the offensive coordinator, co-offensive coordinator, made a great point. Said, we put up the numbers in terms of points on the scoreboard. This one right through the hands of Brandon Jones. But said, who cares if you do it in the air or on the ground? Having said that, yeah, we do want to improve a little bit. We talked to Bob Stoops about his offense last year, what he expects this year.
Biggest part of the year last year. We still are pushing for improvement. We need to make improvement. You would hope with all those starters back, a year more experience, a year longer in the weight room and training, that we could be a more physical team and a more productive offense this year, and that's what we're going to try and do.
2nd and 10, big hole for Kewan Jones, straight up the middle, a gain of 7, and you can see what they're trying to do early here already, Jamal.
Right, they're running a lot behind David Joseph and Jamal Brown. These guys are studs. Look at this big hole. They got Vince Carter, a standout center. They're just creating gaping holes, and the beautiful thing about Kewan Jones is he's getting north and south. He's not wasting a lot of time dancing in the backfield. He's getting north and south.
Well, you got an offensive line with everyone back. David Joseph, a starter last year. Brown is 29th start. Carter is 35th. Shashan is 20th. And Sims is 36th. So outside this time, inside the 15, fighting down to about the 12 is Mark Clayton.
Ever dangerous Mark Clayton. Stoops said yesterday they don't want to highlight a particular player, but they're going to try to get him the ball in as many options as possible. And he said he is by far the best after the catch in college football. He's not a big guy. Guys, he's about 190 pounds, but look at him stick his shoulder down and get the first down. We're going to hear a lot from Mark Clayton, not only this game, but the rest of the season.
Well, and they don't have to isolate him and go to him as often as maybe some other teams would if they had a Clayton, because they do have so many weapons.
So many other weapons.
1st and 10 from the 12. J.D. Runnels in the fullback, operating out of the eye. Adrian Peterson, the freshman, fighting his way inside the 10 to the 9. And this is the youngster, the freshman out of Palestine High School in Texas, the #1 high school player in the country last year. And they've talked about him all summer long here in the Sooner Nation.
Yeah, you hear that roar from the crowd. Everybody's excited to see what this guy can do with this football. Adrian Peterson sweeping left, following the great fullback Runnels. Just gets his shoulder down north and south. 2 guys to take him down. That's what they talked about, how strong he is, how it's going to be hard for one person to take him down, and how great he gets to the edge with his speed and quickness.
Kewan Jones back in for Peterson. 2nd and 7. Here's Jones. Tough running into the line and maybe down to the 6, call it the 7. Javon Burks, middle linebacker from Detroit, on the stop.
Terry, this is an attitude possession for the Oklahoma team. They know they got an outmatched Bowling Green defense, but this is an attitude offense. You watch Jamal Brown right here.
With a little hold.
He's already in the pros, Terry. I mean, he's holding the guy right now. That's something that we do on the next level, but he's doing a great job right now. And you just see these guys. It's just an attitude series for this team right now. Kevin Wilson, Chuck Long, they just calling plays to get these guys' noses dirty.
We don't always isolate and show you the great blocks. We show you the holds as well. 3rd and 4 now. Out of the gun. White, plenty of time. Going to the end zone. Up top, wide open for Clayton, and a touchdown.
It's going to be very, very difficult to stay with this guy.
Six-yard touchdown pass for Jason White to Mark Clayton, the 24th touchdown catch of his career. And a fitting way to start the 2004 season on their opening drive. Oklahoma on the board. Trey DeCarlo, who was a finalist for the Groza Award, one of 3 finalists last year, on for the extra point.
Kicks away, kicks away.
And it is good. So the Sooners, the #2 team in the nation, great start for them. Their opening drive, Clayton in the corner of the end zone, and they're up 7-0 on Bowling Green early here in Norman. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. Pacific Life, offering insurance, annuities, and investments. And Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It is game time. 7-0 early on here in Norman. Gorgeous campus here and a beautiful day. Temperatures getting up to about 90 degrees. But Jason White, 11 plays, 61 yards, and culminating in that 6-yard touchdown throw to Mark Clayton in the corner of the end zone. And he was absolutely wide open in the corner of the end zone.
Terry, they just left off where they did the end of last season. I mean, it's like pitch and catch.
Back deep, B.J. Lane and Cole Magner. Good look at Magner, the senior from Homer, Alaska. It'll be Lane watching this one sail deep. 2nd straight time that DeCarlo's kick will be brought out to the 20. Had 46 touchbacks last year, so he's getting used to that. Take another look at the TD pass.
Yeah, you take a look at Jason White. He's got all day to throw. He's just sitting back waiting for Clayton to get open. And Clayton does a tremendous job going to the corner end zone. You get an ISO here. This is unfair. You got Daniel Sales, a linebacker, right here on Mark Clayton, and Mark Clayton's going to win that every time.
Yeah, tough to stay with Clayton if you're a linebacker isolated one-on-one in the red zone. So it's 1st and 10 from the 20. Second series offensively for Bowling Green as Omar Jacobs, the sophomore from Delray Beach, Florida, communicating up at the line. Got to get this one off. And just does. PJ Pope, the All-MAC performer last year, getting across to the 22 and a gain of 2 before being hit by Dante Nicholson.
Yeah, B.J. Pope is the guy that the coordinator told us yesterday. He thinks he's as good as anybody in the country. Not only did he rush for 1,000 yards last year, he had something like 48 catches as well. So he's a guy that they feel like can do a lot of different things on the football field, and we're going to see a lot of him.
Yeah, Greg Studrara, who's the offensive coordinator, was very animated talking about his players. You could tell he loved his offense. Every guy we mentioned, he had great things to say about it. Again, play clock running down, getting on to 5 and under just about every possession. Here comes a crimson and cream jersey across the line well before the snap. Larry Burdine comes over.
Offside, 92 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
So Burdine comes over and not only a little over anxious, but he said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all the way. He went all the way into the quarterback.
You're watching Omar Jacobs make a lot of checks at the line of scrimmage. Terry, we could be seeing a situation where they send him in with 2 different plays, and depending on how Oklahoma chooses to defend it, he's making calls and checks at the line of scrimmage whether to go run pass.
And they also, Jamal, don't mind taking up most of that play clock. They want to keep their defense off the field.
Defense off the field as long as possible.
So it's 2nd and 1. Inside give. Dropped right there is B.J. Pope. A big hit. Rufus Alexander on the stop, the sophomore from Baton Rouge.
The worst thing you can do against a defense where everybody runs well, particularly the interior lineman, is to try to stretch them going wide either way. You got to look at this. This is what Bowling Green seems to be doing every time. And Oklahoma's just going to pursue. They got a lot of guys that can run to the football. Fast guys all over the football field. Rufus Alexander over there to make the tackle.
Call it 3rd and 1 now. Out of the gun is Jacobs. Looking to sprint, cuts it back, got a first down, and hit hard at the 38. Dante Nicholson just drilled him, but a gain of 8, and they'll move the sticks.
Case in point, Terry, Omar Jacobs, he has the option to either pitch the ball or to go up the field. He goes north and south 8 yards later.
Good decision offensively, too, here.
You watch Jacobs here, he gets a little gap right there inside of Dan Cody, and he just takes it straight down the field. That's what you have to do against a defense that can run the football.
Talking to the coaches, Josh Harris last year, a very emotional quarterback. Now with the Ravens, and they said Jacobs just doesn't get too high or too low. He's an even keel kind of guy. First down, play action, batted down. It's Dan Cody high into the air to swat that one away. Take a look at our Chrysler passing playbook right now, Jamal.
You figure to see a lot of this matchup today, Andrew Hart versus Dan Cody. The guy is so aggressive. He gets up the field so fast. You see him right here, Dan Cody, coming up the field, pursuing, gets his hands up. As soon as he sees Omar put it up to throw the ball, and bats it down.
So it's 2nd and 10. As Magner comes in motion, goes back to the other side. Movement on the right side of the offensive line. And so the flags come out. See if there was contact before that movement. I think it may have been Rob Warren who jumped, but we'll see. Greg Brandon, who actually ran the players through some plays on the tarmac back home at a 2.5-hour delay.
Before the snap, false start, 67 on the offense. 5 yards, second down.
And it is against the offense. Andy Grubb, actually, the man who moved. But they had a charter coming here to Norman or to Oklahoma City right up the road. And the pilots didn't get enough rest. And because of that, had to wait for new pilots and new crew. And they were out there for 2.5 hours, took his team out on the tarmac. They were running sets and plays. And what do you do during a 2.5-hour delay?
Prepare for Oklahoma.
Yeah. Second and 15, showing blitz. Are the Sooners, they run right to it. Pitch out to Pope, turn into corner, cuts back across the 40 and just popped at the 41-yard line. P.J. Pope the junior out of Fairfield, Ohio. 1,005 yards last year, a gain of 8.
Again, they're running a play where they give Omar Jacobs the option to either pitch or to keep it. Hands it off to B.J. Pope, who gets upfield. He had a great block right there by the wide receiver who welled off the quarterback.
So it's 3rd and 7 out of the gun. Here comes the crowd noise again. Quick drop, a lot of time initially at least, throwing it out to Steve Sanders, and he gets up to midfield. Run out of bounds there, but he should have another Bowling Green first down. Sanders, the junior from Cleveland, who had 43 catches a year ago.
You watch Omar Jacobs right here. He's got time on his hands, which is a tough thing against Oklahoma. Moves a little bit to his left. Sees Sanders out there wide open.
Gain of 9 on the play, and they move the stick. Sanders with the 43 catches. Mentioned Magda with the 99 catches. I mean, they had a number of different weapons last year, and the wideouts have really helped Omar Jacobs get ready for this season with all the experience. Shotgun again. Over the middle, dropped. Lance Mitchell right there to make the hit and break up that pass. Well, we have a moment of reminder. ABC's Monday Night Football beginning its 35th anniversary season with a special Thursday night edition. Super Bowl champs, the Patriots in action, taking on the Colts. Plus, you got the star-studded NFL opening kickoff featuring Elton John, Destiny's Child, Lenny Kravitz, Jessica Simpson. All happens Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC Sports Championship Television. You an Elton John fan? Destiny?
I'm going to be there. That's going to be a good show.
It'll be great. Lenny Kravitz for you. Toby Keith, he's from right here in Norman, will be there as well. That ball underthrown, and Sanders was open. Missed opportunity as Jacobs underthrew his intended receiver.
Terry, I alluded to this earlier. You're seeing a lot of high percentage passes, which is a very smart thing. Greg Studraw said he's going to try to mix this thing up. He's going to try to keep Oklahoma's defense off balance. He knows they have tremendous talent, but he knows his skill position players are talented guys as well. But he's doing a lot of high percentage passes. You see curls, you see slants, things that Omar Jacobs can complete a lot easier.
Remember, Jacobs was 4 for his first 4. He's only connected on 1 of his last 6. Oklahoma showing blitz. Picked up initially, but hit as he throws and nobody there. The pressure causing Jacobs to throw it away. Larry Burdine came in and drilled Jacobs as he threw it.
You watch the pressure here, Larry Burdine coming from the wide side of the football field. Ooh, that's a painful shot. I don't know how many more Omar Jacobs can take like that.
Got it low at first, got it high after that. Well, it brings up 4th and 10 as Jacobs goes to the sideline. He's played pretty well for his opening couple of series, though, here on the road first start.
No, I like his composure so far. Like I said, the plays that they've been running have all been good plays.
Here's Fry, kicked away from Perkins the first time. This time he's got it at his own 12. Here he goes. Cutting outside, looking for room, cuts back up to the 26. So they kicked to Perkins this time, but good coverage. On of 39 yards, return of 15. The Sooners with the ball when we come back. First ever meeting between Oklahoma and Bowling Green. First ever meeting for the Sooners in terms of a Mid-American Conference team. And 7-0, the last drive, impressive. Kewan Jones carrying much of the load here, Jamal.
Yeah, you can see Oklahoma's trying to come out and assert themselves. Everybody talked about how they couldn't run the ball. You get a look at Kewan Jones here running down the field. And it's a pitch and catch again. You got Jason White, Mark Clayton, something I'm sure we're going to see a lot this year.
Yeah, you got Bob Stoops with an offense that has 10 starters back, and last year scored 50 or more points 7 separate times and just dominated through the first 12 games of the season. 12-0, then that Big 12 championship loss to Kansas State, the loss in the Sugar Bowl to LSU. Jones ahead for a couple on first down, but it's because of that. We talked to him all week. He said, look, I don't want to think about that. It hasn't been a motivating factor, but the players keep bringing it up.
Right, absolutely. You talked about how the players said everybody that was coming back this year, including Jason White, that all they could think about was the last 2 games of the season. They didn't want to concentrate on the first 12 and how great they were and how much they outscored each and every opponent. All they could think about was losing the Big 12 and the national championship.
Teams always have slogans in the offseason to get ready on T-shirts, whatnot. Theirs, finish. Simply finish. Light play action rollout. Look at his mobility. Bubba Moses the catch. The tight end driven back, and the ball loose for a moment, but they're going to call it dead right there. The whistle had blown. It was Keon Newsom who made the hit and jarred it loose, and now they talk it over, and it is Bowling Green's ball.
I was going to say Bubba Moses might have got lucky there, but
the officials got together, talked about it, and it's Bowling Green ball.
You watch Jason White rolling out here. Bubba Moses stutter steps inside and breaks out. He's wide open. What a great shot. Keon Newsom. Tim Beckman said the center of his defense, the core of his defense is going to be that strong safety, Keon Newsom. He makes plays all over the football field. You got an example right there. Puts his head down, got great tackling position. Then on the way down, he strips the ball from Bubba Moses.
Yeah, he forced 6 fumbles last year, top number in the MAC, and that one he just took right away from Bubba Moses. So it's 1st and 10. They call it down at the 30. Shelby showing blitz under pressure. The quick out. Magnus slips one, bounces outside, still on his feet inside the 20, down to the 19-yard line. We check in right now to John Saunders in New York. John?
Tearing the Taco Bell update. Virginia against Temple. Wally Lundy from just a couple of yards out, his 2nd of the day. And Virginia has opened up a 17-0 lead.
Cavaliers rolling in that one over Temple. Gain of 10 on 1st down. So it is 1st and 10 for the Falcons. P.J. Lane in at tailback for P.J. Pope. And Omar Jacobs back to the shotgun at the 19. On the roll, cuts back. Got a good gain the last time with this play. And now inside down to about the 17. Dusty Dvorak on the hit.
Never disagree when the quarterback is turned straight upfield, gets 2 or 3 yards. They got great field position right now. Pretty good situation, sitting at 2nd and 8. They got the talented B.J. Lane in right now, so Oklahoma has to look out. This guy, they can run a screen right now. They can motion this guy out. They can do a lot of things with him.
2nd and 9 for the Falcons. Four receivers set. A lot of time. Flushed out of the pocket is Jacobs, throwing back, complete to the end zone. Touchdown, Charles Sherrod. 18-yard touchdown pass from Jacobs to Sherrod in a brand new game and new confidence for the Falcons.
Like we said at the top of the telecast, this is a team that averaged almost 500 yards last year, number 3 in the nation. They had all of their specialists returning, all the talented wide receivers. The only difference was the quarterback, and they felt that Omar Jacobs could be as talented or as good as Josh Harris, who was tremendous last year. Got to look at him right there, rolled out a little bit. Charles Sharon is wide open.
Sean Sweesham on for the extra point. It is up and good. So a tie game here in Norman. Jacobs with poise, flushed out, getting it to Sharon. It is 7-all here with 1:52 left in the first. 2 team in the nation heading into this opening weekend of college football, and a huge favorite over Bowling Green, but don't tell the Falcons that. Tied up 7-all, little pooch kick and out of bounds up at the 27. I know they were trying to punt away from Antonio Perkins, but this is not exactly what Greg Brandon wanted on the
Definitely
kickoff.
Not a good idea in terms of the field position Oklahoma's going to get.
And as we said, not only have the mics nowadays on the officials, but they announce in terms of penalties who the penalty is on, like the NFL has done for years.
Kickoff out of bounds. Receivers taking position at the 35-yard line. 1st down.
So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 35 for Oklahoma. And out of bounds on that sideline. Not what they were looking for, but the defense causing the turnover and leading to the touchdown that we saw moments ago. Jamal.
You got Omar Jacobs here, and ladies and gentlemen, he's not rolling out because he's under pressure. He's rolling out to open up the offense. Charles Sharon making a great catch right there.
1st and 10. Bubba Moses in motion. They're bringing it back this way, though. Kewan Jones, tough yards ahead to the 43-yard line.
Starting out with running the ball again, but Terry, I have a sneaking suspicion that Oklahoma might just open up this game, being at a 7-7 right now against Bowling Green.
Good look at Ted Pipko. who made the stop. Veteran linebacker core for Bowling Green. But Jones getting a lot of work in the early going. Last year, 925 yards, almost 1,000 yards on the year. Stronger and more confident after an offseason in the weight room and a full season last year. Straight ahead for a first down. Up to about the 47-yard line goes Jones. A reminder, Tiger Woods been the #1 ranked golfer in the world for, what, over 260 consecutive weeks. But Vijay Singh, the PGA Tour money leader, trying to stop that this week. The Deutsche Bank Championship PGA Tour on ABC tomorrow at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Final round Monday at 3 Eastern, 2 Pacific on ABC Sports. I'll be up there. TPC in Boston. Tiger with a 65 in the opening round. He had the lead after day one. Play action on first down. White with a world of time. Complete to Travis Wilson. All the way down to the 36 of Bowling Green. A gain of 16. And Wilson, who lost about 15 or 16 pounds, much quicker and they say much better coming into this season.
Terry, I know Bowling Green doesn't want to give up the big play, but there is no way you can let the defending Heisman Trophy winner have this much time with this many talented receivers. You see Travis Wilson right there. Luckily for Bowling Green, he went up for the ball and he fell because he would have been off to the races.
He had a chance if he kept his feet. You're right. Wilson, the junior out of Carrollton, Texas. Play action again. White with not much room. Straight ahead and pounded. Mitchell Crosley, the junior out of Springfield, Ohio, on the stop. Crosley, a second-team All-MAC performer last year.
Jason White has nowhere to throw. You see Crosley come up. Definitely not the type of shots that Bob Stoops wants to see Jason White taking in this game.
I was going to say, that was a gift. If you're Crosley, you don't get many opportunities like that. So it is the end of the first quarter. Here in Norman, we are tied 7-7. And we're back after this message and a word from our ABC station.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
13-game winning streak on the line, at home at least, for the Sooners, a team that scored almost 50 points per game last year. A defense that just allowed 12. Terry Gannon, Jamal Anderson, Mark Morgan. Here at 7-7. Adrian Peterson, the freshman, coming to the near side. Sidestepping one, cutting back. The power of Peterson on display a little bit as he gets it down to the 22.
Yeah, they talked about it yesterday. Kevin Wilson, Chuck Long, and Bob Stoops. They all said this guy is dangerous, particularly when he gets to a corner. Not only is he big, fast, and strong, but he'll stick his shoulder down. And this is a little example, people, of what he did last year, averaging almost 12 yards a carry in high school. Breaks one tackle right there. Great cut inside, gets his shoulders north to south. When you're about 220 pounds, you're going to drag 3 or 4 people every time.
And it doesn't matter what high school you play in. 12 yards per carry.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 8-man football.
There goes Bubba Moses in motion. Peterson going to try the left side this time. Trying to get outside, cut back. Ball loose, stripped out, but out of bounds, fortunately for the Sooners. Ryan Newble, number 98, was in there trying to grab it away from Peterson. And, of course, that's how the turnover occurred on the last possession.
You get a look at Peterson right here on the toss. The thing I like about this play, you know, obviously he fumbled the ball, but he gets his shoulders down north and south, and he's looking to try to hit people. That's a great play by Newble, though, on the tackle and stripping the ball. Bowling Green seems to be putting an extra emphasis like they were last year. -6 turnover, 94th team in the country. Coach Brandon said they had worked on that starting in January.
Kewan Jones now in for Peterson. Here goes Jones. Straight ahead, nifty move down to about the 12. But it has been Peterson and fellow freshman DJ Wolf who have gotten so much attention during the offseason. And we asked Bob Stoops about his 2 rookie running backs.
The young guys coming in, Adrian Peterson and DJ Wolf, are very talented guys that are really hard workers and have really come on in a short period of time. We're going to use them both. Adrian's a little bigger, a little stronger, but DJ, excellent balance, ability to catch the football in a great way. So each of them, you know, we're going to see what they're capable of doing.
Get a year to play behind this man, Kewan Jones, who fights his way down close to a first down. We'll see where they mark it. maybe just shy of that 11-yard line.
Scary thing about that last comment is we really haven't seen DJ Wolf yet. And Adrian Peterson has come in so far and played great.
And DJ Wolf was the man who really moved ahead of Peterson, at least in terms of the depth chart and how they listed, because of his work. He came in early in the spring semester, and Peterson had the bad shoulder through camp. And Peterson getting the work in terms of the first man off the bench behind Jones. So they do reach the chains and now move them. 1st and 10 from outside the 10, call it the 11. Straight ahead, Jones finds the end zone. Touchdown, Kewan Jones. Jones with 11 rushes, 67 yards already, and now the touchdown, Jamal.
You get an idea of him running behind Davin Joseph and Jamal Brown. It seems like he's going to cut to that right side every time. This is similar to what we saw with Quentin Griffin 2 years ago. Kewan Jones is just duplicating that performance right now.
Traded Carlo on for the extra point. So it's 14-7 just like that. Bowling Green with new life after the turnover and the touchdown, but Kewan Jones putting the Sooners back on the board. Up 14-7 here at home. An 11-play drive on the first scoring march, and just a moment ago, 9 plays, 65 yards, and a little more than 4 minutes taken off the clock before the 11-yard run by Kewan Jones. So it is 14-7. Here at Memorial Stadium, 82,000 on hand. They've refurbished this place over the last couple of years and added some seats, the upper decks and the suites, and it's a beautiful place. 3rd time that we have seen B.J. Lane and Cole Wagner back deep. And Carlo's kick. 2 touchbacks already. Not this time, though. It's Lane from his own 5. Out to about the 17. And stopped right there. So it will be Omar Jacobs and the offensive group for Bowling Green who will start there. And we told you about what happened last year. The Motor City Bowl taking on Northwestern. And this is a team that was 10-3 at that point. Cole Wagner with the touchdown. And back then, of course, it was Josh Harris leading the way. He's now with the Ravens. But these receivers back once again. Not only did they beat Northwestern in the bowl game, but they also beat Purdue earlier in the season and took Ohio State right to the wire at Ohio State. So Greg Brandon's club coming in, not going to be intimidated.
Right, they're not.
Out of the gun, some room to run, but it closes quickly at the 21-yard line for Jacobs as Lance Mitchell, one of the co-captains and leading tackler a couple of years ago, on the stick. Got a moment, and we'll give you our Aflac trivia question. We've talked about Jason White being the 8th man to return and play after winning a Heisman, who is the only other Oklahoma player to win a Heisman and return the following season. Give you the answer to the Aflac in a few moments. White, the 4th Heisman winner here at Oklahoma. Long count, quick throw, quick out, incomplete. Sharon, who caught the touchdown pass, the intended receiver.
That pass was incomplete, but Terry, you know what I like, what I see so far is Omar Jacobs. He's sitting back there, he's in control, and the touchdown pass rolling out, somebody coming at his legs. Typically a guy that's nervous or scared is going to jump or try to fall on the ground. He's poised in the pocket. He's making a lot of adjustments in a tough place to play against a great football team defensively, Oklahoma.
3rd and 7 coming up for Jacobs. And he told us yesterday's been true. He didn't look frazzled at all and nervous here in his first start. But he's under pressure right now. Quick out. Nice play. Looking to get outside. P.J. Pope. He does. Across the 30, across the 35, and run out of bounds. Flags at the end of the play as Pope has a first down and more after the gain of 16.
Almost on cue, we see Omar Jacobs back there. He's under pressure, but he stays poised, and he finds an outlet instead of taking a sack.
Personal foul, number 13 on the defense. Late hit out of bounds, 15 yards, first down.
So Eric Batsey thinking he likes the old rules when they don't announce numbers. The personal foul, Jamal.
This is something we thought we'd see all day, obviously, with Oklahoma's great defensive line. Omar Jacobs under pressure. He's going down right there, and all he does is find an outlet. Dante Nicholson's got him. I mean, he's got him. He's wrapped up, falling down. There's B.J. Pope, the outlet. It's a great play.
And there's the late hit, and he was a good 2 or 3 yards out of bounds when Bassey hit him. So Stoops not happy about that. And Bowling Green on the move. 1st and 10 from the 47 of Oklahoma. The crowd louder than it's been for a while. The play clock coming down. They're not going to get this one off. And of course, that will just make the crowd even louder on the next snap. And Brandon upset. That's the first time we've seen that, although the play clock is run down close to running out. Don't forget, we're part of a doubleheader today here on ABC. Tell you about those coming up in a little bit, including Wake and Clemson. We'll look at the number 16 team of the nation and the Clemson Tigers. After they back him up, first down once again. P.J. Pope in motion. There goes the option. Jacobs pitching it out to Pope. Looking for room, trying to get outside. Stays on his feet, but then bounced out at about the 43. Nifty move to get outside by P.J. Pope. A gain of 9 before Lance Mitchell.
Terry, we might start seeing signs of frustration. You had the personal foul. Now you see the guys in Oklahoma kind of talking to each other after the play, kind of like, you didn't expect this to be a game, guys.
Well, the longer this goes with Bowling Green in the game, the more pressure there is on Oklahoma. There's no question about that. At the 43, Rufus Alexander right there as soon as he caught the ball. Second time we've called Alexander's name, the sophomore from Baton Rouge, who was out the first half of last year with a knee injury. P.J. Pope saying throw it elsewhere if you're going to throw it to me.
Exactly.
In that situation.
Throw it to me when I'm wide open.
So it's 3rd and 4, and Bowling Green and Jacobs 4 out of 6. Good percentage today on 3rd downs. Out to the flat. Nice catch by Pope. Can he get there? Yeah. First down, and P.J. Pope doing a nice job of turning, catching, and then fighting his way as they move the sticks. 3rd catch of the afternoon for Pope.
P.J. Pope is their Mr. Everything. You see Omar Jacobs right here, running the ball, catching the ball out the flat, getting his shoulders north and south, understanding where the sticks are, and gets the first down. That was a nice spin move to get the first.
Yeah, nifty catch, running away from the quarterback, and then the move at the end. It's been Pope doing much of the work today. Straight ahead, knocked back behind the line of scrimmage. That was B.J. Lane with the carry, who's in for Pope, giving Pope a little break. Lane, the junior out of Fort Washington, Maryland, and big number 92, Larry Burdine on the stick.
Larry Burdine, this guy is scary. Played last year in all 14 games. He replaced Tommy Harris. Everybody knows Tommy's story, one of the top linemen last year. But this guy has a 36-inch vertical jump, and he benches 495 pounds. So this is a pretty good guy to have coming in for Tommy Harris.
Just a few pounds more than Mr. Anderson benches. Time of possession just about equal. Greg Brandon's got to love that. A lot of time to throw and incomplete. Sharon almost had it with a diving attempt.
Two things I love about that play, Terry. You got Omar Jacobs, and he has time. And then you watch the out-and-up tremendous move to avoid Antonio Perkins. Only if Charles Sharon could have held on to that football.
You know, Jamal, this is an offense that does not match up with the speed of the Oklahoma defense, but they run their routes precisely.
Absolutely.
They know what they're doing, and this is a confident offensive crew.
No question. Stoops likened him to robots, saying how well they do everything that they do.
Quick out, there goes Pope. Overrun, but drilled out of bounds at the 30, and it was B.J. Lane in for Pope, who had that and ridden out of bounds. Had a chance and a little opening, but closed quickly, and there is the quickness of the defense.
No question about it. And you Oklahoma, I mean, if nothing else, you want to run plays that'll go straight up the field, north and south on this defensive football team, because everybody on this team can run.
So Sean Sweezum on. This is a try of 47 yards. Sweezum, the senior from Canada.
Kicks away.
Plenty of leg,
Body up easy.
and it is good. 47-yarder from Sean Sweezum, the fifth-year senior. So some work ahead for Jason White. We've got a game here in Norman. The Sooners up 14-10 here in the second. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the Next Sport Super Duty. Tougher, stronger, smarter. The Hartford Mutual Funds, official corporate partner of the NCAA. And Samuel Adams, when you're ready for a distinctive brew, Samuel Adams, always a good decision. 14-10, Sooners on top, but a better game than many expected here at Memorial Stadium. Terry Gannon back with Jamal Anderson and Mark Morgan. And Sean Sweezum coming off a 47-yarder, the longest of his career. Back deep, Juwan Rakins for the Sooners. Sweezum's kick. Rankins 7 yards deep, down to one knee, bringing it out to the 20. We check in with John Saunders in New York.
Taking advantage of a turnover. This is a 4th and goal for Michigan. David Underwood punches his way across the goal line. So the Wolverines now with a 10-0 lead over Miami of Ohio. The Buckeyes of Ohio State in a struggle with Cincinnati, tied at 3.
All right, John, that Miami of Ohio game, that's the team that Bowling Green faced in the MAC championship game last year. You talk about Bowling Green, Toledo, Marshall, the teams to beat in the MAC this year. But here's the Heisman Trophy winner. Jason White back on to run the show. Kewan Jones out of the eye this time, getting a lot of work, but not successful this time. Sent back right at the line of scrimmage by Terrell White. Javon Burks in there as well.
Might have been the first, I wouldn't say mistake we saw from Kewan Jones. He kind of tried to cut it back and there was nobody there. Great pursuit by the Bowling Green defense.
Now, Kewan Jones with 68 yards on the ground already today, and he's got more on the ground than Jason White has in the air so far. 42 yards in the air. That's a lot different than we saw last year from the Sooners. White almost lost it. Quick out, though. Mark Bradley, and he's pounded at the 23. A flag down back at the 12. Going to bring it back. Our mics are working down on the field.
10 yards previous spot. Repeat second down.
You know what was impressive about that last play? You see Jason White here. Thank God he's an athlete. Catches the ball and he throws it to his receiver, but watch the pursuit of the Bowling Green defense. You got 5 guys over there, 2 of them defensive linemen.
Yeah, Javon Burks, the guy who got there first. He was out for a number of games last year with a knee injury, but certainly the leader on defense. White over the middle to Clayton, and again the swarming tackle. Burks in there again, Pipko in there first. A few moments ago, we gave you the Aflac trivia question and asked you about the Heisman and the guys who have returned. The only other Oklahoma player to win the Heisman and return the following season. Of course, the great Billy Sims. Back in 1978, won the Heisman, came back in 79. Who was it? Charles White, I think.
Absolutely, Charles White was the last one. You get a look at Billy Sims right here, one of the greatest running backs in the history of college football. This guy was so good. Another number 20 used to emulate him, Barry Sanders.
Yeah, you didn't mind watching him either. The replays at least. Out to the 34, caught. Good catch. High into the air goes Juwan Rankins. The White on the money, and they'll move the chains. But he was. I mean, he was one of the guys that had style.
Oh, he did. He could do everything. He could do everything.
Gain of 17 on the play. White to Rankins.
Jason White with time again. See Juwan Rankins right there. This is something that Bowling Green cannot do. You got to put Jason White on the ground more if they're going to have a chance in this game.
Gonna give it off to Jones. Kiwan looking for Hall, tripped up though. Right at the 40-yard line. Burks, nice tackle, may have saved a big game, and it was a gain of 6 anyway for Kiwan. Well, take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, what has taken place to this point. Well, with 7:07 and counting left in the game. Getting up top early, Mark Clayton, the touchdown catch, but then after the turnover, Jacobs, the throw out to Charles Sharon for the touchdown. Jones, the 11-yard run to the end zone, and just a moment ago, the 47-yard field goal by Sweejum. So that's how we got to this point, 14-10. Kiwan Jones on the carry out to about the 46-yard line, then a gain of 6, and it's another first down for the Sooners.
Chuck Long, Kevin Wilson, the two coordinators for Oklahoma, they understand that this football team is so talented. They can do all types of things on a football field. You see a great mix of the run pass right now, particularly an emphasis on running the ball and being physical and trying to assert this offense right now.
Behind that big offensive line and a veteran offensive line. Again, White with way too much time going up top, far sideline, contact, and there are the flags. Looking for Brandon Jones, and Terrell Mayberry was one-on-one. He had him covered, but a little too well. So it's 15 yards and a first down as Mayberry shakes his head and says, I don't know what he says. That was fairly obvious.
Kind of unfortunate there because Terrell Mayberry looked like he had good coverage, and at the end of the play, it kind of locked up a little bit. I'd like to think Brandon Jones had more of a jersey on Terrell Mayberry than the opposite.
Second look is always a good one, and Mayberry may have caught a bad break that time. Looked like Jones had a hold of his jersey and was coming back to try to get the ball. First down from the 39. DJ Wolf, the freshman tailback, is in. Play action. White to throw over the middle of the field. Caught inside the 10, down to the 8 by Clayton. High into the air. 5th catch of the afternoon already for Clayton.
Great matchup right there. You get a look at Jason White. Clayton coming across the middle. Jason White again with too much time. You see Mark Clayton. On Bowling Green stud Keon Newsom, who makes a solid tackle. I mean, that's a matchup that I'd love to see most for the better part of this day. But Mark Clayton, Mr. Everything, makes a catch again.
The gain of 31, and there you look at the numbers on Clayton and the records that he has set.
The crazy thing is people didn't really talk about him that much last year. They were talking about how great this offense was, but not how good he was individually, because he had all the other great receivers. And Fitzgerald.
Give Jamal to DJ Wolf. First carry as an Oklahoma Sooner inside the 10 to the 9. Back to Clayton. You're right, though, and he had as good a season as any Oklahoma receiver I think he's ever had.
But all you heard was it's talk of all the Williams brothers, you know, Mike Williams down in Texas, and Fitzgerald, all the guys who were talking about coming out, all the guys who were 6'2", 6'3", and oh yeah, Mark Clayton had 83 catches for 1,400 yards.
That was a small part of the offense. Well, they averaged almost 50 points a game. Kewan Jones back in. Second down. White again, plenty of time to the back of the end zone and broken up, knocked out of bounds. Brandon Jones, the intended receiver. They'll bring up 3rd and go.
Looks like Ted Beekman, the coordinator for Bowling Green, is doing the bend, don't break type of offense. He's not putting a tremendous amount of pressure on Jason White. You get a look at White right here, trying to throw to Jones.
Well, White misfiring on that one, broken up, but 9 of 11 for 96 yards and a touchdown already. Oklahoma perfect on 3rd down conversions today. 3rd and goal. White, end zone, Clayton, touchdown. 2nd time they've hooked up in the end zone today.
Terry, it's really surgical how Oklahoma does this. You see Jason White not under a tremendous amount of pressure again. Drops back. Mark Clayton has gotten great separation on the defensive back and another touchdown. And Oklahoma seems like they just go, okay, they're in the game, but let's just go out and score again.
Yeah, this last drive, very businesslike, Jamal. And it looks very easy. Not a lot for the extra point. Clayton, his 2nd touchdown catch of the day, and it's 21-10. Sooners at home. Good look at the Sooner offense so far today, and 21-10. The lead so far, but Bowling Green hanging in there, but not on this last drive. Take a look at what Clayton does to get to the end zone, Jamal.
You watch Clayton come in here, great inside move, and then we're going to slow it down. You're going to see separation created right here. Mark Clayton does a great job of getting 3 or 4 yards away from Terrell Mayberry for the touchdown.
DJ Pope on the return, up to about the 27-yard line. And that was a tough series for Terrell Mayberry. He was the guy who was called for the interference to get the 1st down and beaten badly by Clayton. But he's not the first guy to get beaten by Clayton.
Yeah, I figure there's going to be a lot of people added to that list by the end of the season.
25 touchdowns now in his career. So 5:04 left until halftime for the Falcons to get something going offensively, and they've been impressive with Omar Jacobs, their young quarterback, only a sophomore. Coming into this game, he had only played in 4 games and thrown 28 passes. Flags on the play.
Number 67 on the offense.
Well, we have a moment. We'll go to John Saunders. You know, there's replay in the Big Ten, and already a bit of a controversy there. John?
Terry, you're exactly right. The Big Ten is experimenting with replay. Jamal Cooper comes up with a sack here. Dontez Sanders picks it up and goes for the touchdown. But they did review the play, showed his knee was down, so they take it back to the 50. Wisconsin has a 17-3 lead.
All right, John, and the Big Ten with the instant replay, the man in the booth, but select games against non-conference teams like Pac-10 teams. We've got one UCLA all night next week. They're not using the instant replay. The ball is loose. Sooners have it. Charles Sharon, the man who laid it on the turf, and it goes right back to Oklahoma. The worst thing that could happen to the Falcons and Greg Brandon right now.
Not just giving Oklahoma great field position to score. You look at Charles Sharon, he makes a great move to elude a guy, and then he's trying to get yards, get upfield, and he gets stripped.
Well, we saw the turnover in the Wisconsin game, and they returned it after the instant replay. We don't need one here. That was clear.
That's our boy Rufus Alexander again. He's all over the field today.
Called his name often already. So the Sooner offense, led by Jason White, back out again, and they're not out quickly enough. We're going to call the timeout and talk things over with Bob Stoops. So 4:57 left for White to get something back on the board. Back at the refurbished and remodeled Memorial Stadium here in Norman, Oklahoma. Owen Field, capacity about 82,000, and another sellout here at home for the Sooners, who have won 13 straight at home. Greg Brandon in town with the Falcons of Bowling Green trying to change that, but down 21-10 at this point, and they just put one on the turf and gave it right back to the Oklahoma offense. Kewan Jones operating out of the eye. J.D. Runnels, full back straight ahead of him. 1st and 10. White, quick drop, quick out. Jones hit hard as soon as he catches the ball. Forward progress going to put him at about the 25-yard line. Keon Newsom again was right there.
Terry, you mentioned 13 straight at home, but they are an impressive 16-0 in September. They've never lost in September under Bob Stoops. And I asked him, Coach, what does that attribute to? He said, we got a great strength and conditioning coach, Jim Schmidt. He thinks he's the best in the country. That's why this team always starts off so strong, so fast, and so ready to play early on.
Admittedly, the schedule not quite as hard in September. They play the early home games. However, this year it's a little tougher with Bowling Green here. Then you got Houston, Oregon on the schedule, and then before Texas Tech comes calling. Jones through a seam and down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Gain of 8 on the play for Kewan, who's had a big day already. Don't forget, coming up on the Valvoline Halftime Show, John Craig and Aaron Taylor, the former Notre Dame All-American, have highlights and analysis for you. Plus, they'll discuss college football's major off-season changes. Valvoline Halftime Report in just a few moments. Also, an update on Hurricane Francis from ABC News. First down, Jones hopping over 1, fighting his way down to about the 12.
A running back's dream. This is the Kewan Jones show. We talked about it yesterday with the coordinators about putting an extra emphasis on trying to run the ball and be physical. And they understand they got great field position right now. They got a team who doesn't necessarily match up with them physically. And so Oklahoma's just trying to run it down their throat right now.
Kewan Jones, 16 carries, 92 yards already. So ready to break the 100-yard barrier here in the first half. Moses in motion, going to hand it right back to Jones inside the 10 to about the 9. Javon Burks got there quickly. But Burks is quick from that middle linebacker spot. 3-year starter out of Detroit, one of the co-captains. Oklahoma in its 110th season of college football. And in what they call now here in Norman the third golden age. You had Bud, Barry, and now Bob. Through the hands of Moses, almost picked off.
Big Bubba couldn't hold on to that one.
Well, the only time Oklahoma hasn't scored today in terms of drives was when they turned it over. Moses gave it up to Newsom.
You got good coverage here. We just talked about Javon Burks. He's all over Bubba. Bubba couldn't hold on to that one.
So it'll bring up 4th down, 4th and 5, and an attempt of 27 yards for Trey DeCarlo, trying to make it 24-10. Carlo 19 out of 22 last year. On for his first attempt. Pulled it in there, just inside the right upright. So Trey DeCarlo, the junior from Carrollton, Texas, making it a 24-10 game here in Norman. While we have a moment, we send it down to Mark Morgan.
Terry, it's props time here. We've got a few things that the Bowling Green team brings for inspiration at home and obviously here on the road. This is called the Big Stick. This is presented to a defensive player following the game who had the biggest hit of the game. Let me tell you, it's pretty substantial. Also, as far as offense is concerned, they bring this toolbox, which represents the weapons that they bring. We got the hammer, screwdriver, pliers, all of those type of things, which represent the offensive weapons that the team hopes to bring on the road and use against their opponents. So we got the big stick, we got the toolbox, and obviously right now, Bowling Green kind of on the short end of the scoreboard, but they're hoping to come back.
Any kind of comeback prop in the tub?
Yeah, they're on the short end of the stick, so to speak.
Yeah, the Teddy Roosevelt theory. Walk softly, carry a big stick on the road. We got them all. We keep going on. 24-10, and Jamal.
I don't know about power tools or tools. Bowling Green needs a pickup truck right now.
Yeah, I mean, they hung in there through the first quarter and had a lot of confidence. But right now, after the turnover by Sharon just a moment ago, you can't obviously afford to make mistakes on the road here in Norman and expect to stay in it.
Right, but like Coach Brandon said, this is a game that it's great for his kids to be a part of. I mean, they get to come to Oklahoma, play against one of the most talented teams in college football, and whether they win or lose, they're going to take away a great experience in this game. They're coming out, they're playing well so far. I mean, we have I don't know how many people thought it was going to be 24-10 at this point.
We had 2:33 left until half. Carlos kick in the end zone. They'll bring it back out to the 20 for Omar Jacobs and the offense. Don't forget, part of an ABC Sports college football doubleheader. Oklahoma State taking on UCLA next, or Wake and Clemson. Talked about that earlier. Michigan State taking on Rutgers, and that's the second half of the doubleheader coming up next. And UCLA got them in action. Our crew does next week against Illinois. But also mentioned that will not be one of those games in which you'll see the instant replay.
Right.
Pac-10 teams did not want to be a part of that in the Big Ten. But we'll see how that goes this year. Already taking a look earlier with Bob Sanders. Run out of bounds is B.J. Lane. Rufus Alexander, there's that name once again. And also Jonathan Jackson was there.
So tough to run sideways against this Oklahoma defense. You see Jonathan Jackson got great pursuit. Rufus Alexander, these guys get upfield so fast and they're so quick. I mean, B.J. Lane has nowhere to run.
Now, you played at Utah. We talked about that earlier in the show, and you used to play against Nebraska,
first game,
underdogs.
Right.
How do you make yourself stay in it mentally and think that you have a chance as you go deeper into the game and that team's wearing you down?
Regardless of who you're playing against, you just got to come out and try to play your game. You got to come out and follow the game plan, do things that you talked about. Coaches will try to put things in to put you in the best position possible, in the best situation possible. You just got to follow through with those things, regardless of what happens, from turnovers to whatever the score is, particularly when you already coming in undermatched and everybody thinks you're going to get murdered.
Nifty move by B.J. Lane, the junior out of Fort Washington, Maryland, but it's Oklahoma who calls the timeout. Trying to get it back before the half. If they can get a stop here. Well, the big question coming in for Bowling Green was Omar Jacobs. And at least through the first quarter and a half, he played extremely well and actually has kept it up. I mean, he's kept his poise throughout.
No question. The best thing about what Omar Jacobs has done is not so much statistically, but he's made tremendous amount of adjustments at the line of scrimmage. He's kept his poise. He's kept his guys in. And like the coordinator said yesterday, Greg said, this guy, he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low. He's very even-keeled, unlike Josh Harris last year, who would get in people's faces or get real excited after a great play. He said Omar just is kind of mellow. He stays calm, and I think that's going to benefit this football team.
See his numbers, which are pretty darn good so far. One touchdown, has yet to throw an interception, and early on throwing those quick outs and spreading the field and the short routes to get his confidence. On the other side, you've got the Heisman winner who's put up great numbers. 11 out of 14. Got a couple of touchdown throws to his favorite target, Clayton. Heisman trophy in the trophy case just down the street from Memorial Stadium.
Anybody who'll listen, Jason White is telling them, I'm not back here to win another Heisman. I'm back here to win the Big 12 championship and to play for the national championship.
You know, how many places in the country can say in history, right, that they have the Heisman Trophy and the Claret Jug at the same time? Don Hamilton got the Claret Jug, and people were taking pictures with that today outside the stadium. Quick throw and complete. Nice catch. Steve Sanders making the catch up at the 28-yard line.
Again, you get a look at Omar Jacobs. He's sitting back there. He's got some pressure. Dusty Dvorak.
So timeout as they stop the clock once again with 1:32 left until the half. Lovely halftime show coming up in just a few moments. There's Craig. There's Aaron. We saw John. Aaron Taylor with the stiff arm Heisman move in the trio from New York with a new set up in New York City. It's caught up in all the highlights as we open up play college football season here in 2004. Talked a little bit about the MAC, but how about How about the Big 12 and what you expect to see this year? Oklahoma, obviously the favorite in the South, with maybe Texas right behind them. But in the North, you got Kansas State, you got Missouri, and White, Jason White, maybe not even the #1 quarterback in his own league, even though he's won the Heisman in terms of preseason predictions.
Yeah, everybody's saying that Smith out of Missouri is going to be the guy this year, but which is incredible because the things Jason White did last year, over 3,800 yards, 40 touchdowns, and they've never be talking about another quarterback.
And there's the man. Perkins back deep. Antonio Perkins, one more to tie the NCAA record in terms of returning punch for touchdowns. Going to get a chance, even though they tried to kick away from him. Looking for room as he cuts back. Not going to find any. Good coverage again by Bowling Green. Out to the 37. A punt of 41 yards and a return of 7. But the Sooners going to get it back with 1:19. So Jason White leading the field, leading the team out on the field, but there is a flag on the play at the 32.
Number 1, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So they'll back him up a bit, but we talked to Jason about last year and the difference between last year, this year, his maturity and the team's experience heading into this 2004 campaign.
Playing the whole season, I think everybody matures. You grow up a lot, you learn a lot about yourself, and you build on that. And I think this year that we have a lot of guys that came back just to play their senior year. A lot of guys could have entered the draft, but they decided to come back and pursue a Big 12 championship and a national championship, and I think that's going to help us out. We're all better players from last year.
It is hard to imagine a 12-0 start and then coming to a halt so dramatically. The Big 12 championship and the national championship game. Jones lost it for a moment, got it back. He gets it out to the 25. But in terms of this offense and really White, I mean, it's not often that you have a team put up the numbers that it did last year and then have 10 starters back on offense.
Exactly, and particularly a guy who won the Heisman Trophy. Jason, you know, he's 24 years old. He got a 6-year of eligibility, which is rare in the NCAA, and now he's back, and he kind of has a chip on his shoulder because everybody, all they want to talk about was not the 12 games, but the last 2 games of the season, the conference championship and the national championship.
Joe John Finley in that tight end in motion, but they're giving it right to Kewan Jones.
That's good.
Gets ahead up to about the 30. Crowd wants him to go downfield. You can hear the reaction so far as it gets to half a minute and counting.
Stoops is a smart guy. I mean, Chuck Long and Kevin Wilson, they understand, you know, run out the clock. They're going to get a chance to come back in the second half and do whatever they want to do.
They'll take their time. They're going to let this time run out. Got the ball back, but after the penalty, Bob Stoops thinking, let's just sit on that, take the 14-point lead and head to the locker room. So number 2 Oklahoma at home here in Norman to kick off the 2004 season. And the Sooners with the lead 24-10 over Bowling Green. Falcons hanging in there through the first quarter, but now down 2 touchdowns. Don't forget, Valvoline halftime show coming up with John, Craig, and Aaron.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
Back at a sold-out Memorial Stadium here in Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners, the number 2 team in the nation, with a 24-10 lead over Bowling Green. Terry Gannon back with Jamal Anderson and Mark Morgan, who just a moment ago spoke with Bowling Green head coach Greg Brandon.
Coach, what's the mood of your team at halftime? What did you tell them, especially your offensive unit, about trying to get some more points on the board?
We had the 1 turnover, and we unfortunately held them to a field goal. We just got to sustain some drives. I think Omar's playing well. You know, it's loud, and our guys are stumbling a little bit there, but we're okay. We're okay.
How do you slow down this Oklahoma offense?
We just got to keep our defense off the field. That's the best thing we can do.
Good luck.
All right, Mark, and the 1 turnover, Jamal, really the play that Greg and Bowling Green players and coaches can look back on and say, boy, if it wasn't for that play, this would really be a game right now.
No question about it. I mean, that was a tough turnover and a tough situation for Bowling Green.
Early on, though, it was White to Clayton to the end zone, and then Charles Sharon, who later fumbled to the end zone. Kewan Jones, a big first half, 98 yards so far in the game, but 2 touchdown catches for Mark Clayton, and that is the story here in Norman, 24-10. But that turnover, Charles Sharon putting it on the turf, led to that 3rd touchdown by Oklahoma and turned the momentum around a little bit. In fact, it seemed like Omar Jacobs was gaining confidence here in his first start ever on the road in front of 82,000.
Yeah, and given those situations and circumstances, Omar Jacobs has made a lot of corrections and checks at the line of scrimmage for a guy who's starting his first game against Oklahoma Sooners. So I think he's done a tremendous job. He's been poised. And I think those are good things. Coach Sharon probably came in and reflected on the positives and just said, hey, let's just try to stay in this best way we can.
Juwan Rankins back deep. Oklahoma won the opening toss, deferred to the second half. But it is caught up ahead of him. Bradley spinning up to about the 36-yard line. Nifty move, good return, good field position for the Sooners as they start here in the second half. And we'll take a look at some of the numbers from the first half, the Pacific Life game summary. And you look at the rushing yards, 33 for Bowling Green, 118 for Oklahoma.
That is huge because Juwan, I mean, he didn't do a lot last year. He only had 978 yards. He did have over 50 yards in 12 games, but he only has 100-yard game to his career so far, and he's starting off right now, unbelievably.
1 turnover each for these 2 teams in the first half. So the Sooners start 1st and 10 from their own 36. Kewan Jones, the first call of the second half, straight ahead for a couple. Mike Thaller, defensive tackle from Cincinnati, on the stop.
If I was Kewan Jones, I'd keep asking to run to the right side of that football field behind Davin Joseph and Jamal Brown. Those 2 guys have been opening up big holes all day long.
After the gain of 2, Jones now right at the 100-yard mark. Only the 2nd time in his career that he has gained 100 yards or more in a game. Bubba Moses in motion, coming back to the near side. Play action for White on the rollout, going to throw it to his big tight end, who is wide open and barrels his way across midfield to the 48. Second catch for Moses, but he gave it right up to Keon Newsom the first time. Fumble in the first half for the Sooners. Gain of 13 this time, though. At halftime, they honored a couple of people, including Todd Hamilton. And we talked about the Claret Jug being right here in Norman, and Hamilton with just a great win at Royal Troon this year, going to the playoff and staring down Ernie Els, and the putt at 18 coming in to win the 4-hole playoff. That was a great, great moment. 2nd straight year that, as Mike Tirico called it, was an American Cinderella story in the British Open. Jones off right tackle and down to about the 43. And this was Hamilton in that playoff after the chip up just in front of the green. Before that, the play to there and the final putt, and the celebrations began at Royal Troon. The Oklahoma Sooner is Hamilton. But 2nd and a long 5. 4 receivers set as Jason White goes back to the gun. They'll blow the whistle and throw the flags. Back him up 5 yards for the false start. You like the fact that they, obviously not on that one, but they're announcing the names and numbers?
I do. I mean, you know, when you make a mistake like that, everybody knows about it. It kind of makes you more aware, try not to do it again.
Play 8 years in the NFL, you get used to that, but as a college football player.
Because everybody in the crowd's going, oh, look at you.
2nd down. Quick pitch out to Jones, trying to turn the corner and can't do it. Good pursuit by the defense. Terrell Mayberry, who was beaten for a touchdown early in the game, got there quickly.
And this is how you make up when you jump off sides. Here's a look at Wes Sims right here. Watch how he drives his man off the line of scrimmage. And Wes is just going to run him, keep running him, keep running him. That's how you make up when you jump off sides. Although Kewan Jones wasn't running exactly where he was blocking. That was a tremendous block.
Third down for White, who is operating out of the gun again exclusively all day. Both teams do that. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Monty Cooley, number 91, the junior from Carter, Georgia, got his hand in the air.
One of the first things they teach defensive linemen on when they get to college and in the pro levels, as soon as the quarterback raises the ball up, get your hands up in the air. Even if you can't get to him, get your hands up in the air. You see Jason White right here getting ready to throw. Hands are coming up. Monty Cooley was able to get his hand up and bat that down.
So Blake Ferguson on for his first punt of the game. First time that Oklahoma will have punted. Charles Sharon back deep, calling for the fair catch already, and this one traveling to the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 20 after the 44-yard punt. Bowling Green taking over. 11:56 here in the third. Brent Venables, the co-defensive coordinator here at Oklahoma, trying to pump up the troops as they head out onto the field. He and Bo Pelini are the defensive coordinators. Pelini coming in. Remember, Mike Stoops was here, and there was a lot of talk after he took the Arizona job. The last two games this season, last year, which Oklahoma lost, and Bob Stoops said that it's absolutely meaningless at that point, the fact that he was leaving. B.J. Lane ahead for a couple of yards. He'll get a rest, and P.J. Pope will come back in.
And Coach Stoops talked about how Bo Pelini, it wasn't a great thing for him to come over. You know, they used to confer last year when he was at Nebraska because they didn't play each other. They ran the same defensive philosophy, and they said it's been a smooth transition with both guys being co-defensive coordinators.
Batted down right at the line of scrimmage. Dusty Dvorak bats it down as we send it to New York and John Saunders.
Terry, Michigan having a little bit of a struggle with Miami of Ohio, but trying to pull away. Josh Betts, they ruled out a fumble. It looked like his arm was going forward. Referee said it was coming back. Fumble recovery. They score Underwood's second touchdown, 17-0.
Looks like you need instant replay on that one.
Absolutely.
So here it is 24-10. Bowling Green trying to get something going, and I believe it was Jackson who batted this down on the last play.
Yeah, you get a look at Dan Cody coming from the outside. He had a great rush. Dusty Dvorak in there, and then Jackson gets his hands up and bats it down. This is kind of something that we expected to see from the Oklahoma defensive line. They said they feel like they have the best two defensive ends in football. Then obviously Dusty Dvorak all over the football field.
Jackson making his 29th career start here at Oklahoma. The senior from Houston. Key third down to keep this drive alive for Jacobs. Had room to run, but throws back across the middle. Got his man, got a first down. So it's P.J. Pope out of the backfield, and they'll move the chains. And again, see the poise of Omar Jacobs.
I mean, it is unbelievable. Omar sat and told us yesterday, we said, are you nervous at all? He said, no, I thought I'd be nervous, but I feel good, and I'm not going to be nervous tomorrow. And I was like, we'll see. But obviously, he was right. I mean, look at Omar just avoiding the sack now. Instead of running the ball, trying to figure out where he can throw it. It takes years to teach guys that in the NFL, and I'm really surprised in his first start in this situation that he's already kind of got a great grasp of that.
Gain of 14, first and 10, quick out. There's Magner who lost it out of bounds. They've gained a little bit, up to about the 43, maybe the 44-yard line. Third catch for Cole Magner on the afternoon.
Get a look at Omar Jacobs right here. He's got guys coming to him. Obviously, we talked about Oklahoma's defensive line being good. Rufus Alexander, he's all over the place today, but Omar sits in there, knows he's going to get hit, delivers a great throw.
Jacobs is a big guy, and they list him at 6'4", 224. Normally, guys look smaller when you meet them.
Right.
Yesterday, walking up to him, he looked even bigger than
honestly, I mean, 15, 20 pounds, this guy could be a tight end.
Oklahoma showing blitz. They pull it back. Jacobs over the middle, too strong for the intended receiver. Magner was there, but Jacobs just drilled it that time.
That's rare because Cole Magner is one of the guys on his football team. He usually catches everything that comes near him.
Magner, the senior from Palmer, Alexander, kind of a beach ball, surfer dude from Alaska. Got the long, blonde, flowing hair.
A surfer dude with 99 catches and 1,200 yards receiving last year.
Free spirit. 3rd and 7. 5 receivers over the middle, and again behind his intended receiver. A little bit too hard that time, too. Rodney Poole on the coverage.
It seemed like there was miscommunication there between Jacobs and his wide receiver and Steven Sanders. Sanders broke down when I think Jacobs thought he was going to keep coming across the middle. Instead, Sanders kind of stopped in the hole right there.
Sanders maybe reading the defense and going to the open spot.
I mean, it wouldn't have been a bad throw either way. If Sanders would have just sat down, Omar Jacobs would have connected, they would have had a first down. I think that's what Jacobs was thinking, that he was just going to sit in the hole.
There was the man. Perkins back deep. They got in there quickly. Here comes Antonio, going to get a chance. Line drive punt coming back across the field. He's got away. Perkins to midfield. Got one man to beat, who drives him out of bounds at the 32. It was the punter Fry who ran Perkins out as he was looking for yet another return for a touchdown.
This is pretty amazing to me, Terry, because Coach Brandon said yesterday there was no way he was gonna punt to him. He said there's no way. He said, I'm not crazy. We're not going to do it. We saw what he did to UCLA. We're not going to punt to Antonio Perkins, and now we see him not only this return, but he had a return before that.
Yeah, I actually said I'm not crazy. I'm crazy, but I'm not stupid. He said, and he said, there's no way we're going to do it. Well, they've done it all but one time, and it was Fry who ran him out of bounds, a 37-yard punt, but he brought it back 44 yards. And remember what happened last year. He had 4 of them, 3 in one afternoon against UCLA. And Jamal, they just kept saying, well, we're going to punt it to him. We think we can stop him.
Exactly.
And they couldn't.
No, I just didn't understand it. I mean, not just avoiding one person, bobbing, weaving, spinning around, trying to do anything he can to get open. Always in the end zone at the end of the play. And it's dangerous. Anytime you got a guy that talented, you got to punt away from him, you got to punt to the corner of the field so you can try to get your guys over, and he has nowhere to run. 7
returns for touchdowns in his career. 1 away from the NCAA record. Quickly, we send it to New York and John Saunders.
Michigan now starting to pull away from Miami and Ohio. Freshman quarterback Chad Henne, 20 yards to Braylon Edwards, who takes it in for the touchdown. And the Wolverines now up 24-0. Terry.
Well, it was tight early, but now Michigan pulling away in that one. And the Sooners trying to do the same here after the long return by Perkins as he hobbles off the field.
This is the only drawback to having guys you count on the other side of the football. He's obviously a standout cornerback. This is the only drawback. You got guys on special teams returning kicks that are starters on offense or defense. Sometimes people get hurt. Sometimes people get shaken up. And this is probably one of the things you go, hey, if this guy can return, he's a special returner. We got to give him an opportunity to return the football regardless of what could happen.
Talk about all the weapons here at Oklahoma, but he is as important as any one of them. Jason White, maybe Mark Clayton, those 3. As Bubba Moses goes in motion. Adrian Peterson's in the game, the freshman. Play action, White over the middle, almost picked off. Could have been picked off by DeAndre Perry, the redshirt freshman from River Rouge, Michigan.
Yeah, DeAndre Perry staying with his guy. He had great coverage there. Hey, Jason White threw it just a little bit behind him, but he had an opportunity to get both hands on that football.
Crosley on the pressure.
That's the thing. You can't let Jason White just sit back there. This guy's going to pick you apart. You got to keep somebody in his face. You got to put him on the ground.
Second and 10. Peterson powering his way inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line. Adrian Peterson, the freshman, we talked about him, the #1 high school player in the country. More of a power back than anything else.
Yeah, and he's going to get 6 or 7 yards, man. Again, he's running behind Davin Joseph, and he's running behind Jamal Brown. Jamal Brown, the standout right tackle. And every time they run to the right side, it seems like they're going to get 4 or 5 yards a pop. Those guys are very, very talented.
Guy who rushed for almost 3,000 yards and 32 touchdowns his senior year of high school. Bouncing outside, coming back this way. Trying to get loose and keep the ball at the same time and driving the tackler down to the 25. And they love it here at Memorial Stadium. Keon Newsom was the man who had him.
The highlight of that play the highlight of that play. You're looking at Adrian Peterson. Obviously, play supposed to go right. Bumps into Jamal Brown and comes back. But the highlight of this play is right here. Jason White getting involved. That's what the crowd loves to see. They love to see the quarterback not afraid to mix it up, being one of the guys on this football team. That energizes not only the crowd, but this football team.
Could have used a little better technique, but yeah, the effort was there. 4th and 1, first time either team has gone for it on 4th. Kewan Jones slips one, gets the first down. So Jones over 100 yards for only the 2nd time in his career. And at the conclusion of today's game, reminder, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And certainly Kewan Jones, one of the candidates for player of the game. They're going to bring out the chains, actually. Looked initially like he got it easily, and he did get it, but it wasn't by much.
We're getting an example of what Kevin Wilson was telling us, the co-offensive coordinator. He said, you know, Kewan Jones, he backed up a great running back before. He backed up Quentin Griffin. He said, we don't know if he was totally ready. He didn't understand the commitment to be the starting running back, and he had the injury, so he lost a lot of weight. Now we can see he's totally prepared. He's a veteran. He's busted his butt in the offseason to be prepared and try to run the ball, and it's showing today.
And you know, as a great running back, that when you start the season and the coach says, it's yours, this
Absolutely.
is your job, it makes a big difference. DJ Wolf in right now, tailback. White to the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Will Peoples with the catch from Jason White.
What do you expect, Terry? You give Jason White time and the talent that he has around him, all the wide receivers and all the talented guys. Will Peoples coming here. Jason White is just sitting back there. He could have a cup of coffee. Will Peoples runs a great corner, post, right to the middle of the field, and he's wide open.
24 yards on the touchdown. And DeCarlo on for another extra point try. And no good. He missed it left.
We gotta have some flaw, Terry. They're doing so many things well. We gotta have one flaw.
They are human. But here's Peoples in the end zone with it. Touchdown catch. It's 30-10. Sooners here at home. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American Revolution. Singular, the wireless company that fits you best. And Allstate. Allstate is a proud sponsor of the Bowl Championships Series. Student Union here on campus in Norman. 82,000 plus. Terry Gannon along with Jamal Anderson and Mark Morgan. Touchdown a moment ago to Will Peoples. It is 30-10. Take another look here, Jamal.
I stand corrected, Terry. This is a great pass. Will Peoples makes a great move. Jason White throws a great pass on the inside. He stretches out for that. Props to Will Peterson. Props to Jason White. I thought he was wide open, but it was a great pass. The cornerback recovered well.
Peoples, the senior out of Humboldt, Texas, getting his 14th, or has started 14 times in his career. And here's a guy who topped off that 5-play drive. But if you're Bowling Green, you know, you see your defense, especially that defensive line, not putting any pressure on Jason White on the field for a long time on what is a 90-degree day, not as hot as it could be this time of the year here in Norman, but it's not a good sign. E.J. Lane, Cole Magnet back deep. Eddie Lane from his own goal line. Out to the 23. And Omar Jacobs will try to get the offense going from there. Full day of college football today with our doubleheader. Don't forget, tomorrow back with you at 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 on the West Coast. Syracuse taking on number 25 Purdue. Special presentation of college football on Sunday with the NFL a week away. Boilermakers, a team that Bowling Green defeated last year. If you're Jacobs here, You're 15 out of 26. You've played well. Does he need to start to look downfield a little bit more, try to move the ball?
I think they've done a good job being in control, trying to mix things up. They've moved the ball well. And this is what they've been doing well all game long, the run-pass option. Run the ball north and south. P.J. Pope. But I think you do the same things that you've been doing with Omar Jacobs. I think you have to take shots downfield to keep the defense honest, or Oklahoma's just going to continue to stack everybody inside the box.
Gain of 5 for Pope, the junior out of Fairfield, Ohio, as Mitchell was in on the stop. Saw one shot that they took early with Charles Sharon. And it was very close.
Yeah, barely. I mean, just bounced off the tip of his fingernails.
Everything else has been short, out of the backfield, over the middle. 2nd and 5 on the rollout. Cuts back across the 30 up to about the 31.
I think they're also right now, Terry, putting an emphasis on keeping the defense off the football field. I mean, they don't want Oklahoma's offense to roll out any more than anybody else. So I think right now it's like, let's run the ball. Let's try to control the clock. Let's try to keep our defense off the football field and see if we can have success doing that.
Brings up 3rd and 2 for this Bowling Green offense. That was the number 3 offense in the country last year. Remember that, almost 500 yards of total offense per game. 5 receivers set. Jacobs gets it away somehow as he was thrown to the turf by Dan Cody. So Cody forces the errant pass, but how strong is Omar Jacobs, too, Jamal?
Yeah, he's really strong. But, I mean, this is something honest. Quite frankly, Terry, I thought we would see earlier. Dan Cody makes a great move pushing the tackle out the way and gets underneath. And Omar Jacobs still able to stand in there and try to deliver a pass. Because Dan Cody's one of the best defensive ends in the country.
Cody almost had his 16th career sack. Fry going to punt it away. T.J. Carswell. Now the man back to, remember, Antonio Perkins left. He was hobbling with the injury after the 44-yard return on the last punt. So it is down at the 27-yard line. 42-yard punt. Return 30-10. Sooners up here at home. Back live here in Norman, Oklahoma. Some clouds beginning to roll in. It's been a beautiful day, though. Terry Gannon, Jamal Anderson, and Mark Morgan. Number 2 Oklahoma taking on Bowling Green. 30-10 your score. Jason White having a field day again, Jamal.
No question about it, Terry. And this is the only time you want your quarterback to get all C's. He's cool, calm, collected, and he's in control. Jason White picking up where he left off last year in the regular season, leading this Oklahoma Sooners football team. 2
touchdowns early on to Clayton, who was the man, by the way, who was in returning that last punt. Perkins, who was injured. I incorrectly misidentified him, but there's Bradley, the quick out, knocked out of bounds. So Jason White, you talk about picking up where you left off. He wants to do more than that, because remember where they left off last year with the 2 losses at the end of the year. And again, the players have talked about how that's such a motivation.
That's why I say regular season, because nobody. I mean, he's the guy. It's like, hey, I know what happened those last 2 games. You don't have to remind me. That's why I'm back here to win some football games.
Not only with 10 starters back, but young tailbacks, too. And here's one of them. Peterson just dropped it and knocked it out of bounds. Well, if you drop it, you know, he was thinking quickly. He made sure it got out of bounds.
Batted the ball out of bounds. Jason White pitched it back real hard. I'd probably have a word with Jason when I got back to the huddle. Like, hey, you don't have to pitch it that hard.
Do you remind your quarterback often about those things?
If we were running an option, and sometimes the thing about an option, you know, everybody thinks it's such an easy play, but the separation between the quarterback and the running back is critical to the success of that play. Like, how far apart are they? How hard the quarterback pitches the ball.
Is that something in the first game of the season that would maybe be apparent?
Especially with a young guy like Peterson, you know, he's a true freshman.
On the roll, Bradley, the intended receiver, but incomplete.
Again, Bowling Green dodged the bullet there because Mark Bradley was out there in the flat by himself.
Teddy Pipko, the outside linebacker, in there on the pressure. So White will come to the sideline, bring it up 4th down. Second punt of the afternoon for Oklahoma. Blake Ferguson back to punt. And there's Charles Sharon at his own 23. No snap, and he just gets it off. Does Ferguson. Sharon may be able to return this one. Not this way, though. Crimson and green jerseys swarming over him at the 30. Well, how quick was the coverage? A 46-yard punt, but just a 4-yard return.
Not just the coverage, Terry. My coach Frank Gant used to always tell us, he who second guesses himself is lost. Charles Sharon did a great job of going upfield. You see the pressure right here on the punter. Kind of got lucky pulling up right there.
Certainly did. So it's 1st and 10 from the 31. Loud once again, but Cole Magna with a catch over the middle.
Smart.
His 4th catch of the afternoon. While we have a moment, a reminder, told you earlier, Monday Night Football kicking off its 35th anniversary season. Special Thursday night edition, Patriots taking on the Colts, and also the star-studded opening kickoff. Elton John, Destiny's Child, Lenny Kravitz, Jessica Simpson. That's Thursday night, 8 Eastern on ABC Sports. Also, Jamal Anderson.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. Toby Keith's going to be there. That's going to be a tremendous game to start the NFL season. I mean,
Toby Keith, a part of that as well. 2nd and 3. Jacobs going to keep it this time. Trying to get outside and can't. Lance Mitchell all over Jacobs.
Get a look at Jacobs here. Decides to keep it, and Lance Mitchell, a guy that Brent Venables told us is by far the best tackler that they've had here since their time in Oklahoma. I mean, they've had tremendous defensive players, so that's saying a lot about a guy who missed last season.
Look at the numbers from 2002 before he missed last year. And 9 tackles already this afternoon in this game for Mitchell. Third down, time for Jacobs. Threw it right behind the intended receiver, B.J. Lane. And again, a little bit too hard.
A little bit too hard, but B.J. Lane had an opportunity to catch that ball. He was right where he needed to be. He would have turned around and got the first down easily. So Omar might have been a little bit excited, but that ball went right through B.J.'s hands.
So you don't think Jacobs needs to work on that touch? You think it's a receiver's
a little bit, but I don't think it was so hard that B.J. Lane couldn't have made that catch. You know, I think he was already looking to move before he caught the ball.
There's Perkins. Good news for the Sooners fans. Antonio back in, going to return this one. Clayton returned the last one.
Be very interesting to see what Greg Brandon decides to do with this punt.
Nate Fry, will he kick it to Perkins this time? Short punt. Perkins did not call for the fair catch. He wanted to return it, and they were just waiting for him at the 30. But there's a flag out about the 38-yard line of Oklahoma. Watch this.
I think Antonio Perkins is trying to prove to us that he is, in fact, healthy.
Number 36. Penalty will be 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
So they'll bring it back a little bit from that 30-yard line. Penalty going against Bob Stoops' club. But Perkins may be the only man in America who would not have called for a fair catch.
Exactly. I tell you where he might have benefited. You watch Perkins come up. The Bowling Green guys are kind of breaking down because they got to give him a little cushion before he catches the ball. So he doesn't really get hit that hard because everybody's kind of breaking down and trying to give him space.
The senior from Lawton, Oklahoma, with those 7 returns for touchdowns, but maybe an underrated corner. He's got something to prove this year about that. Inside give. Kewan Jones cuts back across the 25 to the 27-yard line. A reminder, coming up later, time permitting, of course, the thrifty Carlino post-game report. John, Craig, and Aaron in the studio, featuring highlights and analysis across the country. Opening weekend of college football.
Terry, I think Bowling Green is going to get a proper dose of Kewan Jones and Adrian Peterson for the rest of the second half. I mean, Oklahoma's got a 30-10 lead, in control of this game. They're just going to try to run it now.
Kewan with 112 yards on the ground already. Keep it right there. Coming to the near side. Kept back going up to about the 35-yard line. Tough running before Javon Burks wraps him up. A gain of 8. And you're absolutely right. The Sooners going to keep it on the ground as much as they can. You mentioned the opening weekend of college football. Some changes this year to Jamal, including the BCS and how it works. Right. Rid of the strength of schedule. And, we talked to Bob Stoops about that. They went out and got Oregon on their schedule to strengthen their schedule, which is the 3rd game of the year. And now the BCS does away with that part of the stand. It's just the polls now.
And it wasn't just Oregon. This Bowling Green game, they had a choice between Arkansas State and another lesser opponent, and they chose Bowling Green because Bowling Green looked like they would be the better team at the time, which they ended up being. And now Stoops is like, we don't need either one of these teams. He says, it matters a little bit, but it doesn't.
Certainly matters in the minds of the pollsters, especially, I think.
And it matters to the Utah Nation. Yes, we started off with a very, very good win the other day.
Congratulations on Thursday night. J.D. Runnels, by the way, the man down right now. I think as much as anything, a late loss, the timing of your loss may really be even more important now as well in BCS. 145 yards, you see there.
Talking about a stat that people probably wouldn't expect to see from Oklahoma. 145 yards rushing, 30 or so carries.
Reynolds up and walking off the field. Good sign. So Perkins do the same on that previous return, but back in just a moment ago. So Antonio Perkins is okay, and Reynolds as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I know those guys are excited to see JD get up, because when you make honorable mention all Big 12 and you didn't have a single carry, you know you're effective fullback in the offense.
Second down from the 36. Quick drop, quick throw. Clayton could not hold on, and we send it to John Saunders for an update on Cal Air Force right now in New York. John?
Well, Cal adding to a big lead. Aaron Rodgers is going to hook up with Chase Lyman. This one covers 78 yards. Perfect strike, wide open, takes it the rest of the way for the touchdown, and Cal's lead now is stretched up to 35-14.
Cal getting a lot of talk and a lot of notice out in the Pac-10 this year, and I know my man, being a Utah guy, likes to see that score.
Not just that, my cousin's a starting center for Cal, so I'm real excited to see that score.
Wide open over the middle. Brandon Jones across midfield, inside the 40, dragging tacklers down to the 35. A gain of 29. He had no one near him.
No, and when you got a guy like Brandon Jones who had 5 catches of 45 yards or more, you can't leave him wide open like that. Again, Jason White with a lot of time. Brandon Jones coming across the middle. The guy is so big and so strong. Look at him. There's 3 guys from Bowling Green who are on him, and he's still running for yards.
He got 3 catches already this afternoon. He had 46 last year. He's 6'3", 214. First down at the 35, just outside the 35-yard line. Peterson, the freshman, cutting back. He's going to get there. First touchdown of his career, Adrian Peterson.
It's what the Sooner faithful have been waiting for.
They'll remember this one. 35 yards to the end zone for Adrian Peterson, the freshman, and everything. #1 player in the country coming out of high school, and you look at him, DJ Wolf, quite a combo in their first year here on campus at Norman. DeCarlo, who missed his last one after, well, he set a record 74 of them last year. Much of that due to the offense that Oklahoma had, but this one is good.
Yeah, this is an impressive run. You know, the guys are just going back and forth. Kewan Jones, Adrian Peterson coming in. You get a look right here at the left tackle. Wes Sims kicking a guy out. Adrian Peterson, north and south. The thing that he did so effectively throughout his high school career. And the guy, when he gets an open field, runs a sub 4.5 to be 220 yards. Look at this block right here. Watch Wes Sims going to kick out right here, and that's going to create the lane that Adrian Peterson's going to go through. Jason White hands it off, reads the block, inside, cuts, outside. Now everybody's taking bad angles. Bowling Green's missing tackles, but they're not just missing tackles. This guy's 220 pounds, and he's big and strong. Straight down the hole.
Yeah, he's going to make a lot of people miss tackles throughout his career here in Norman.
The thing is, there was some question about him because he just hurt his shoulder in early August, whether or not he was going to be prepared. You know, they said, yeah, we've done 907s, and he's maybe got 90% contact, but not. He hasn't been tackled. He hasn't been hit hard. He hasn't been, you know, a lot of guys haven't been jumping on top of him, the type of activity he's going to get in the game. So there was some question as to how healthy he would be. He looks fine to me.
It looks okay?
Yeah.
All right. Celebrating on the sideline. So it's 37-10. Bowling Green hanging in there through the first quarter or so, but it has been all Oklahoma since then. Cole Magner, B.J. Lane back deep for the Falcons. Carlos kick. Forget about this one. Bring it out to the 20. So it's just the first of two today here on ABC. Got a doubleheader for you coming up next. Many of you will see Oklahoma State taking on UCLA out the West Coast. Pasadena, Wake Forest taking on number 16 Clemson, or Michigan State and Rutgers. Full day here on the opening weekend of college football on ABC. So some work to do for Bowling Green to get back into this one. Especially for Omar Jacobs, who now, you're down 27 at this point. You wonder if the game plan changes a little bit, but they play action it out. Jacobs going to keep it, hit hard at the 25.
I know they're trying to mix it up. Greg Studraw talked about how they were going to try to throw him off balance, but I don't know how much, particularly in a game that's out of hand, I would have Omar Jacobs, a guy you're counting on to be your starting quarterback, running the ball against Oklahoma. Play action right here. Omar breaks it. Fakes Dan Cody out, luckily, and then he comes up and he takes a pretty good shot right there.
6'4", 224. He could take plenty of shots and get back up. Rodney Poole hit him that time. B.J. Pope spinning back for a couple. That's it. Bringing up third down. There's your man, Rufus Alexander again.
Yeah. Rufus is making amends for missing the beginning of the season last year.
Oklahoma 370 yards total offense.
There's the statistic, Terry. The rushing yards.
Yeah, the balance offensively that they have had. Quick out across the 30 and across the 35 to about the 37. And that's a first down.
I mean, Oklahoma was frightening last year with all the wide receivers and Jason White. And now if you throw in the mix a balanced attack with Kewan Jones and Adrian Peterson, I know the rest of the Big 12 is going to be like, oh, here they come again.
Yeah, it's the old story. There's no question. They just not even reloaded. They have most of the same faces back that ran through the Big 12 last year.
And oh, by the way, we have the best high school running back in the nation.
Yeah, and the fourth best running back in the nation, DJ Wolf. James Hawkins, his first catch of the afternoon on that last play, by the way, over the middle and caught inside Oklahoma territory. Steve Sanders in traffic coming down with it. Well, Jacobs just drilled it to him.
Yeah, you see Steve Sanders on the outside here. Makes a good move coming across. Excuse me, he's in a slant position. Jacobs, hey, three guys around. You got to throw the ball hard, and you got to get it in the hole.
Give Sanders credit, too. He's just waiting for Nicholson to just pop it. So they move across midfield for the first time in a while. Throw underneath down to about the 39. P.J. Pope out of the backfield for the catch.
Sooners defensive line kind of pinning their ears back now. You see Omar Jacobs getting hit a lot more, picking himself up from off the ground.
Alexander on the hit again, but Pope coming out of the backfield, I mean, it gives you a lot of options because not only did he gain over 1,000 yards last year, but here's a guy who caught 48 passes. Last play perhaps, the third. Jacobs on the run, throwing back. Where the intended couldn't quite get up in the air to get it.
The funny thing about that play, Terry, I was just about to say how quiet Cole Magner has been, the guy they relied upon so much last year. Then they do a rollout here and get Cole Magner in the slot. And he's by himself, but Jacobs throws are just a little bit too high.
Magner 4 catches for 18 yards on the afternoon. 6'2" senior. And you talk to the coaches, they say there's not a better or fierce competitor than Magner on this team.
Single season record last year, 99 catches, the all-purpose yards over 1,500.
So 3rd and 7. Jacobs on the run, throwing and got a man inside the 20, out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Sanders with another catch, his 4th of the afternoon, and this a big one.
This is exciting to see, too, for Bowling Green because they're down so much in this game. And then Omar Jacobs coming in. When you get a look at him, you see Steve Sanders break into the corner right here. That's a great pass. If Steve Sanders doesn't catch that, nobody does. And that's the type of position you want to see a wide receiver in.
Gain of 23 on the play. Sanders back to the line of scrimmage. 4 receivers set on 1st and 10 from the 16. Crowd starting to get back into this one now. Inside give to Pope, looks for room, nothing doing. And Magruder was there first along with Dan Cody to wrap him up. So that's it here in the 3rd quarter, 37-10. Sooners on top here at home, but Bowling Green moving the football close perhaps to scoring once again. Back with more in the 4th quarter after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
Back for the start of the 4th quarter here in Norman, Oklahoma. The number 2 ranked Sooners up 37-10 over Bowling Green. Terry Gannon, Jamal Anderson, and Mark Morgan with you here from Memorial Stadium. 2nd down for the Falcons. Call it from the 16-yard line. Omar Jacobs out of the shotgun, battling the noise and the Sooner defense to the end zone. Sharon, a diving catch. Touchdown, Bowling Green.
He had a couple of great adjustments on that play. He had Omar Jacobs. We talked about the poise coming in today. They had a blitz coming from his right side. Pick up the blitz. Yeah, Omar Jacobs just sat back there, and then Charles Sharon broke away for a great catch. You see P.J. Pope right here picking up the blitz on the right side. Omar has a lot of time, and when you give a guy like this time with the receivers that he has, you're going to connect.
Sharon's 2nd touchdown catch of the day. He beat Bassey that time to the corner of the end zone. Squeeze him on for the extra point. He had a 47-yard field goal, longest of his career earlier in the day. So some new life for the Falcons, 37-17. Look at the senior's reaction. Cole Magner after that last touchdown telling his defense, get us the ball back. We can score on these guys. There's still time. And we'll see. 37-17, just under 15 to go in this one. Just started the 4th quarter. Rankin's back deep, about 7 yards. And he'll say, no, we're going to bring it back out to the 20. But an impressive strike from Jacobs out to Sharon.
Yeah, Eric Bassey's no slouch at cornerback, but it was a great throw. Sharon stretches out and gets a little bit of separation on Bassey, and he got 7 points after the PAT.
Yes, sir.
I'm giving him points on the touchdown.
Can't assume that. 16-yard touchdown catch for Sharon. His first one of the day was an 18-yard, so he's got a couple this afternoon. Now Jason White leading the Sooner offense back on the field. Kejuan Jones has been the man. He's the lone setback now. Jones with 121 yards on the day, trying the right side once again. Nowhere to go this time. DJ Carswell was there along with Javon Burks to wrap him up. So on this opening weekend of college football here in Norman, Oklahoma, Derek Gannon, Jamal Anderson, Mark Morgan, number 2, Oklahoma, getting a test early against Bowling Green, but then pulling away, and the Falcons coming back. Pacific Life game summary. Take a look at some of the highlights from today. Will Peoples, the touchdown catch, and then the youngster Adrian Peterson, to the delight of 82,000 fans who have waited all summer to watch this guy play, to the end zone for the last Sooner touchdown. Quick out to Jones and run out of bounds up at the 29, about a yard shy of the first down.
Terry, Oklahoma is like business-like. I mean, very methodical with their drive. There's not a lot of, not to say that they're not fired up for this football game, but they've come out today and just they've executed. Everybody's been really, really calm. Even when it was tight early on, it was like, okay, let's just go out and do what we do best. Let's tackle, let's run, let's catch the ball and see what happens.
You think that comes with a veteran team? They've got so much experience?
Not only just a veteran team, it's their first home game. They're playing against Bowling Green. Not to say that they took Bowling Green lightly, but they know physically and talent-wise that they have a great football team.
Moses in motion. Operate out of the eye. This one picked off. He's going all the way. Keon Newsom to the house. It is a ball game.
Ted Beckman talked about it yesterday. He said, hey, the center of my defense, the most important position on the football field is Keon Newsom. He said, he's my strong safety. I wanted to build the core of my team from the center on out. Look at him now.
Keon Newsom bringing it back 28 yards. Boy, he read it perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the anticipation.
Keeps his eyes on Jason White. Jason kind of just throws it out to the flat. Keon breaks on it well.
So just like that, you know what, Cole Magner, they didn't give the ball back to the offense.
Right.
They took it one better. So Sweejum, the extra point after the interception and the return from Newsom, the star of the defense, and it's 37-24. And, some nervous people here at Memorial Stadium. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Cadillac. Bold vehicles define convention. Aflac, ask about it at work. And Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. And good play just a moment ago. Keon Newsom with the interception. Perfect read, taking it back all the way. So it's 37-24. Bob Stoops and Oklahoma closer than most expected it to be. Greg Brandon's club hanging in. Sweejum's kick. This one all the way out of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. We go to New York. Check in with John Saunders for a Michigan update. John?
Well, we told you that they had to start the freshman quarterback, Chad Henne. Well, when you got this guy, you can start just about anyone. Braylon Edwards goes up, juggles it. That's his second touchdown reception of the day, 36-10.
Interchangeable parts in Michigan. Jamal, take a look at the great read for Newsom.
Look at Newsom's eyes, following White the whole time, makes a great read, picks it off. Hey, that's what the best player on the defense is supposed to do.
Coming back this way, first play of this drive. It's Clayton with the carry and hit hard out of bounds at the 22. New life for Bowling Green and some new enthusiasm right now.
You can hear it right there. I mean, Clayton comes around and Terrell Mayberry makes a good stick on him. These guys are fired up right now.
Look at the points off the turnover. Oklahoma off the 2 turnovers. But some key one, you know, Bowling Green with the key one early on. Inadvertent flag. Here comes Clayton right into your house.
Well, Dowler forces him outside, and Terrell maybe comes up and makes a great hit. Clayton is strong, though. To be 190 pounds, he got great pad level on that play.
Jones. Look. Swarming defense for Bowling Green. Quick hit. Evan Parks, the sophomore out of Libertyville, Illinois, the defensive end who made a number of freshman All-American teams along with Javon Burks in on the stop. And now 3rd down and 5, and I mean there's 13:35 and counting left in the game.
Right. Bowling Green, the defense, they're not in huddle. They're waiting to see what the call is going to be, how to get themselves in position to make a stop right here.
White, quick drop, quick throw, got his man near sideline, trying to get loose and fighting up to the 40-yard line is Will Peoples, who caught the touchdown pass on the last drive in which they scored. So they'll move the chains, and a key 3rd down pickup for Oklahoma.
Yeah, definitely. 3rd and 5. You get Jason White back here. Again, he's got time. He throws the ball to Will Peoples. He makes a great fake right here. Like he's going to go out of side. Johnny Jordan's trying to hold on right now.
Boy, Bowling Green would have gotten a stop there. You think about the momentum that they would have taken to the next offensive series. We'll see here. Quick pitch. Jones looking for room. Quick feed of Kewan Jones getting it to the 45.
You see Kewan Jones breaking out, but Clayton made a very, very smart move. First of all, he's blocking on the outside, the cornerback, and then as Jones comes outside of him, he throws his hands up like, hey, I'm not holding this guy.
Veteran move. It's the old adage, but you probably could call a hold on almost
every
any
play. Oh,
play.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Be here
till midnight.
Yeah, be a night game. Jones straight ahead power running this time near midfield. That's where he needs to get for a 1st down. So just shy of that, perhaps. See where they mark it. 28 carries, 135 yards today. Kewan Jones. And if there was any doubt as to whether Bob Stoops and the Oklahoma coaches wanted to make sure that people knew they could run the football this year,
Right. They're gonna
forget about it.
They're trying to erase that doubt right away. It's a good play. He started off going upside David Joseph's side, and then he ended up going behind Kelvin Chouchon.
3rd and 1. Coming this way. Jones gets a good block and then is tripped up, but he gets the 1st down. Mayberry with the tackle. It looked like if he could cut back.
Right. That's kind of a dicey call there, Terry, because in most situations when you got 3rd and 1, you got the field position that Oklahoma has, you usually want to just kind of run it straight down the field.
Check out Runnels. Oh.
This is why J.D. Runnels was honorable mention all Big 12 when he didn't even carry the football. That was a tremendous block.
I mean, Runnels just took the helmet off of Javon Burks. So you want to play college football, huh? And you got to pose after that.
Yeah.
So it's 1st and 10. They move the sticks once again. Inside give. Jones ahead for a couple. Keeping it on the ground every play right now. And using up clock. Don't forget, it's the 1st of 2 here on ABC today. Many of you will see Oklahoma State taking on UCLA. The Bruins out west. And got Wake Forest against Clemson out of the ACC. Michigan State Rutgers. Your lineup. The next game here on ABC Sports Championship Television. Just getting underway. 2004 college football season. The last game will be, of course, at the Orange Bowl, and that's what the Sooners have been looking forward to. Making a run at their 8th national championship. Balanced offense today on this drive. It's all on the ground. Adrian Peterson this time.
That's the thing that's going to be scary about this football team this year, Terry. I mean, last year you had Kewan Jones, who was the main guy, the feature running back. Now Kewan gets tired, or if they need to spell Kewan, they can bring in the guy who's the best running back in the nation, and Adrian Peterson. And he's already had a tremendous game so far. And then behind him, the number 4 guy, DJ Wolf.
And you know where it all starts, though, too, with that veteran offensive line. And the quick strike, and then the Newsom return of the interception for a touchdown. And this drive is just taking the strength and the life out of the Bowling Green defense. On the run, White looking for room to run. That's the 35 to the 34.
This is that new mobility they talked about. Jason White finally being healthy, going through spring ball and all of summer camp, and that he was moving around and he was running wind sprints with the running backs and the wide receivers, and we were going to see more of this from Jason White this year. rolls out, doesn't have anybody to throw to. He just tucks it and runs himself, gets a first down.
Gain of 6, another first down, as you said. Yeah, last year, because of the injuries, and sometimes people forget that, preseason and whatnot, he couldn't go through the same agility drills.
Not at all, and that's why they were in the option a lot. I'm scooping up the option, but where he was in shotgun a lot last year.
Going to move up under center this time. Adrian Peterson, the lone setback, tripped up, falls ahead. Gain of 1, maybe 2 on the play. Bringing up second down. Loads of injuries. There's the story of his career early on. You go back to 2001 and watch as he hobbles out of bounds. Ended up having 2 ACL surgeries. This one against Alabama, of course, September 7th, 2002. And Sooner fans remember those well. And coming back and getting a 6th year from NCAA this year. Yeah, here is injured. The strain back, the wrist, ACLs, broken big toe at the end of last year.
I know a little bit something about these 2 things, Terry.
The ACL.
Yeah.
Jones stayed up longer than he should have. 30. And everything, the ground game. All about the ground game at this point. But if you're White coming back, Bob Stoops has talked about it. People know the story, but even how he announced that he was coming back.
Right.
No fanfare.
No. I mean, very modest guy, not a guy who, like Stoops likes to say, he didn't have a press conference, he didn't have a media event. He just said, hey, coach, I made my decision. I'm going to come back. Okay.
Yeah,
and
let
it was
tell
during
the guys.
practice. Yeah,
right.
I'll just tell the guys at the end of this.
An impressive drive right now. Wearing down the defense of Bowling Green and taking, as we said, their life away. White under pressure, throws this one away. No one out there. He's got rid of it. Daniel Sales was in there to pressure Jason White.
Good pressure by Daniel Sales, but the thing that you like about that play is Jason was backing up, was in trouble, but he got rid of the football. Didn't cost him any field position on that.
There's Mayberry in there as well. Yep. So 4th, and we'll call it 5. And there's White. He's out there.
Very long 5.
And you know the crowd's going to love this. Going for it on 4th down. Clayton to the near side, now back. White, here comes the blitz, going to flush him out of the pocket on the run. Throwing back. Did he catch it? Yeah. They call it a catch. John Finley, the tight end, and he barely caught it, but a great catch for Finley, his first of the afternoon.
You get a look at Jason White rolling out. Doesn't look like anybody's there, and DeAndre Perry is all over him.
It's a pretty good call,
yeah, just dropped. Well, it was a great catch.
9th different receiver this afternoon. So White's spread it around, and Finley, the redshirt freshman out of Arlington, Texas, getting his first catch ever for the Sooners.
He's got a guy all over his back, and he's also fallen to the ground and get his hand underneath to make that catch. Keep his drive going.
Is alive. 13-point lead for the Oklahoma Sooners here with 7:15 left in the game. 84,319 the attendance today, so above the actual announced capacity of Memorial Stadium. It is a new stadium record. John Finley, the catch to keep the drive along. A moment ago, Keon Jones fighting his way near the end zone, but there's a flag down as he's knocked out at the 1. The flag back at the 19.
The running back's worst nightmare. All that effort to get down to the pylon, and you get up, and they're like, you're coming back. You're coming back.
Holding 55 on the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
You know what? Jamal Brown has thrown enough blocks to get touchdowns for Keon Jones in his career that he'll accept this one.
See, what people don't realize, you see Jamal Brown right here. He's got his hands, and if a referee sees where your hands are on the outside, right here, that's the key. If he sees your hands on the outside and holding on to a guy, he probably could have got away with that. I mean, but what people don't realize is that running backs, we still count those yards. Official statistics don't give them to me, but we count them because it physically took something out of us to get those yards.
You're the only ones, and you can't look back on them, but sure, in your mind, you can count them. Kewan trying the middle this time, down to about the 22, but sure, you keep your own stats.
No, Terry,
your
I'm
family
serious.
keeps your stats.
Why, okay, if I was Kewan Jones, I'd be like, well, I had 185, but we had two penalties, so I only ended up with 150.
Don't forget, if time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. John, Craig, and Aaron featuring highlights and analysis from today's action around the country. That's if we have enough time. So it brings up 2nd and 15 at the 21-yard line. White looking one way, going to throw that way to the end zone. Had a man, Brandon Jones, well covered that time. That was Jelani Jordan, who was banged up a little bit early in the ball game, but back in and stayed there step for step with Jones.
Got some pressure from Mitchell Crossley on the outside. See Jason White sitting back there. He's about to come under pressure here any second now. Mitchell Crossley get a good rush. I don't know how much longer we'll be seeing Jason White if he keeps going on the ground, even though that wasn't a bad hit.
When you look at Jason White and who's behind him, obviously Oklahoma Sooner fans don't want to find out, but Paul Thompson, a junior, is behind him. But if it's a blowout,
right,
coaches from Oklahoma say they'll put in Tommy Grady and try to redshirt Thompson, get him an extra year. Junior. Going out, there's Clayton. Looking for room under the 7.
And so then talking about Paul Thompson, there was some argument amongst the local members of the media as to, how talented Paul Thompson was and that he could be playing right now instead of Jason White. Get a look right here at Jason White sitting back, time again, throwing to his number one target, Clayton, who eludes one guy. He just makes the stuff look so easy. He's on the outside. People think he's going to run out of bounds. One sidestep goes inside. And
7th catch of the afternoon for Clayton, but it brings up 4th down, and this will be a 24-yard attempt. Trey DiCarlo. Perfect. So they averaged nearly 50 last year, and the Sooners with 40 on the board right now. 5:07 left. It's 40-24. Last drive for Oklahoma, 17 plays, 73 yards. But the big number right there, 8 minutes, 57 seconds taken off the clock, Jamal. And that was coming off of the interception return for a touchdown by Newsom, and all the momentum on the side of Bowling Green.
Absolutely. Chuck Long got those guys together and Wilson down there and said, hey, let's just put together a strong drive. Let's get some time run off the clock. Let's be effective and do what we do best. And that's exactly what they did. Jason White throwing. Kewan Jones running the ball, Adrian Peterson running the ball, and they got 3 points out of it.
That was mostly Jones. He's got 148 yards on the ground today and 239 in the air from White. Little pooch kick to the 22. Taken there, not much doing in the way of a return. Up ahead to about the 26-yard line. P.J. Pope, the man who caught it and returned it. And they have had some highlights offensively.
No doubt about it. Bowling Green is a team with talented wide receivers, has a great safety in Keon Newsom. They can make plays. They did it last year on the football field. They just need more plays like this. They need an opportunity to make or create more turnovers and get the ball. And this guy right here, Omar Jacobs, is going to be the key to see what he can do in the next 5 minutes.
It's connected twice with Charles Sharon in the end zone, and then you saw that return for a touchdown off the pick. Great read for Keon Newsom. First down to the air once again. This time almost picked off over the middle. Brandon Shelby had a great chance. And we'll take a look at our Pontiac High Performance Drive summary. The last 5 possessions, all those punts and the 1 touchdown.
Yeah, you can't win a football game doing that. Brandon Shelby is the guy who broke up that last play. Bo Pelini talked about how he's just a solid player. Said since he's come in, man, he's been one of the guys that he knows he can count on. You see him right there diving across the field to make a play. Now
it's 2nd and 10. Now they're in motion to the near. Here's Jacobs on the roll, got a man. It's Sanders over the middle across the 40 to the 42. So Steve Sanders with his 5th catch of the afternoon. He's had some big ones.
Sanders has definitely been a key for Jacobs. They got a nice thing going right here, but Jacobs rolls out and he's got Dusty Dvorak breathing down his throat. He stood in there through the ball. He took a nice hit at the end.
You don't think that's a good feeling, do you?
No, not at all.
Dvorak now over 300 pounds for the first time in his career. Long time to throw. Jacobs going up top. Well covered. Sharon was there, but he was well covered. Eric Bassey was right there with him.
Yeah, he might have given up the 1 touchdown, but Eric said, I'm not going to give you the big one. It's good to see him try to throw it down the field. Like I said, you got to keep the defense honest. If all you're doing is throwing short routes or curls or slants, and then the guys in Oklahoma's defense, they can set everything up from 8 yards in and just play you that way.
Some of the scores from around the country. Virginia, 44 points on the board. Wisconsin in the win today. Quick look back. Hope out to the 47. Continues to run 4:23 and counting.
Rufus Alexander did not make that last play, but he really disrupted it. If they would have had a little bit more time or been able to eliminate him sooner, it looked like B.J. Pope had a nice lane to run either way.
So 3rd and 5 as they get to the line as quickly as they can. Jacobs throwing it away. You know, many of their passes have been rollouts, getting him out of the pocket, but give that offensive line, you know, the Scott Murkowski and the guys credit, because even though we see him throwing on the run quite often, it's been by design.
Right, absolutely. They've been rolling out. I mean, they understand what they're dealing with Jackson and Cody and Magruder and Dvorak. But this offensive line with Murkowski, he's one of the best centers in football right now. He's a guy that's on the short list for a lot of the top awards for interior linemen. And, you know, Andy Grubb and Warren, they've done a good job of protecting him for the most part, but they understand what they're dealing with and try to keep this guy moving and on the run so they can throw the defense off.
Another game coming up next, but don't forget, back with you tomorrow as well. Special Sunday edition, 1:30 Eastern. Syracuse taking on Purdue, 25th ranked club in the nation. You look around preseason at least, the Trojans ranked #1, Oklahoma #2. But who jumps out at you when you look at the great teams this year?
It's hard to say right now because you got UCLA and there's a couple other teams. UCLA not being one of the better teams in college football. Coming up next, yeah. But, you know, USC is so good, Oklahoma is so good, and you got all the teams in the state of Florida. I mean, that state is always going to be tough. You never know what's going to happen with Florida State and Chris Riggs. Obviously, Miami is going to be a tough team. It's really going to be hard to say, especially with them moving into the ACC right now.
It'll be interesting to see the ACC, the changes that have been made. And, of course, that first game, Florida State and Miami, if you're not aware of it, where have you been? But it's been delayed a week, and it will be almost a week. It'll be on Friday night time on ABC, but because of Hurricane Francis, didn't think that they could get that in this weekend, and prudent thinking. So we got an update at halftime.
Another team too, the Bulldogs, Georgia. They're going to be a good team with Pollock and Green and quarterback.
After the timeout, 4th and 5. Jacobs in the backfield along with Pope. Looking for Magner, got him, but he's not going to get there. Not even close. Wrapped up right away. Chijoke Onyenagetcha. First time we've called his name today, but we'll call it often over the years. There's no doubt. Junior college transfer out of it.
As tenacious as Cole Magner is, there's no way with his back turn he's going to be able to get out of a tackle of 2 guys. Oklahoma played that well defensively. It was really sound, and we got our first chance to say Chijoke's name.
You're not trying the last name, huh?
No,
I'm
not even.
A shot?
No. I told Coach Steve yesterday he's just going to be Chijoke to me.
Thought my partner had some courage here.
No, but this is. I mean, you're right that we're going to have to say his name a lot, particularly the Sooner football team, because this is one of the guys they say has prototypical size to be an NFL cornerback.
So Jason White and the offense back out with 3:45 left in this one. Adrian Peterson, the freshman, gets the call over the right side. Remember, the last drive took almost 9 minutes off the clock, and they kept it on the ground for much of that. And I would imagine they'd like to keep it on the ground for much of this drive.
It's big boys time right now.
Yep.
Offensive line and the running backs, you got to sit around, you got to run time off the clock. It's like, okay, this is our time just to wear a team down.
Seven national championships here at Oklahoma. Last one just a few years ago, back in 2000. And they'd love to win another one again in the Orange Bowl at the end of this year. Peterson looks for room, cuts back, and gets down to about the 40. We can hear the crowd react every time
Peterson touches. Yeah, that could have been ugly. It was a solid tackle right there. If this guy gets free, he's gone.
Been a long time since a recruit arrived on campus, which with as much attention as Adrian Peterson has this year.
Dare I say the last was Marcus Dupree?
Yeah, probably right.
Who had a great freshman year and then, well, walked off the field sophomore season.
How'd you end up at Utah, by the way? It must have been recruited by Oklahoma. Peterson all the way down inside the 25 to the 24. Sore subject, huh?
Why are you trying to get me started, Terry?
Gain of 17.
Even 17 yards on the play to the 21-yard line. First down, Sooners.
So it's 1st and 10 Sooners from the 29. Ooh, just popped as soon as they got it.
And out to Peterson.
Jenkins Reese on the hit, and it was a good one. Well, today's Chevy players of the game, no surprise. Omar Jacobs, quarterback, 24 to 41, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns for Bowling Green. And Kewan Jones, career high in carries and yards, 32 carries, 148 yards. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Peterson now in for Kewan Jones. Knocked out of bounds at about the 16. John Nicholson on the stop. I was surprised. You look at Kewan Jones, that in only one other game had he rushed for more than 100 yards.
Right, yeah. He did have in 12 games over 50 yards, but they talked about how the emphasis, they had a hot hand. I mean, Jason White was so good and the wide receivers were so talented last year, and they're all back this year, but they said, you know, we didn't really put an emphasis on running the football. It was like we did so well throwing the ball, we didn't really concentrate on it. We were still winning football games, so it didn't matter to anybody here.
Peterson trying to get outside. Stays up after the initial hit, but knocked out at the 15. Getting a lot of work, and more work than DJ Wolf has gotten, the other freshman sensation who was ahead of him, at least on paper, in terms of the depth chart.
And we know how that works out, because every time that Kewan Jones has needed a sub, we've seen Adrian Peterson come in, and much to this crowd's delight, they wanted to see what this kid could do.
To the 15-yard line. Brings up 4 uniform.
Sooners out of the eye, running this one out. More of a challenge than many people expected, but Bowling Green with 11 wins last year. Peterson gets ahead for a couple, and putting themselves quite well for much of today.
Yeah, you got to give credit to Coach Greg Brandon. His team was ready. They came out. Like he said, this was a mirage, guys. Don't worry about this. We play football with anybody on any given day, and they came out and played well.
So the gain of 2. They run the clock once again, and that will do it. That's it. here at Norman. With Bob Stoops heading over to have a word with Greg Brandon. Your final score, Oklahoma 40, Bowling Green 24. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Regional action coming up next. With Paul Anderson, Mark Morgan, I'm Terry Gannon. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports Championship Television. Goodbye, everybody, from Norman. From New York in just a moment. 24-10, your halftime score here at halftime.